Chapter 4452. Suddenly, they realized that the mysterious man had walked out. He did not continue to the fourth level. It seemed like he had failed. The two of them heaved a sigh of relief. They knew it. If the other party succeeded, it would be too heaven-defying. After Lin Xian came out, he did not stop. With a flash, he flew down. He left the pagoda. At the same time, a few other figures also flew out. It was young Master Ling Tian and the others. However, young Master Ling Tian's situation was not good. His face was pale, and there was even a mysterious black aura around him. After coming out, the Saint King Battle Servant roared at the sky. "Ah, damn it, young master, how are you?" Damn it. The aura on his body was terrifying. However, the saint blood made one's scalp numb. Sensing this aura, Elder Howren's face changed. It was actually a Saint King. No wonder Ling Tian could come here. It turned out that he had brought such a terrifying existence. The two of them immediately understood. However, even if that was the case, Ling Tian would still be heavily injured. The Saint King Battle Servant raised his head and said, "Where is the mysterious man? Where did he go?" He actually dared to beat young Master Ling Tian to such a state. "My purple spirit grotto will not let him go." What? This guy was not beaten by the heavenly horned ant, but by the mysterious man. What kind of joke was this? How could that guy pass through the barrier? Damn it. The battle servant crushed the token on his body and quickly gathered the people of Purple Spirit Heaven. Not long after, the people of Purple Spirit Grotto arrived. When they found out that young Master Ling Tian was severely injured and even poisoned, all of their faces changed. Young Master Ling Tian's identity was extremely terrifying. If he were to die here, his grandfather, the Supreme Elder, would definitely be infuriated. All of them would suffer. Therefore, these people said to take out pills to save young Master Ling Tian first. Everyone stopped searching for treasures. These people were incomparably nervous. The people of other grotto heavens were even more shocked. Young Master Ling Tian was heavily injured, especially Elder Howren and the others. They were even more shocked. That mysterious man was too terrifying. He actually dared to do such a thing. How did he do it? In an instant, the people of Purple Spirit Grotto frantically searched for that mysterious man. However, Lin Xian had already left. After he left, he changed his aura. He had 10 types of laws. After putting away the law of death and releasing the law of 5 elements, the situation instantly changed. Even if these people turned the world upside down, they probably wouldn't know that he was the one who did it. Although he had only gone to the 3rd floor, Lin Xian's harvest was not small at all. First, the great dragon sword soul had been upgraded. Then, he had saved Fu Hongya. He was very satisfied. Next, he flew again in search of other places. It could be said that there were indeed treasures in this place. However, it was also extremely dangerous. Many people had died here. In the past few days, Lin Xian had seen quite a few battles, and there were even Saint Kings among them. He ignored all of them. There was another intense battle ahead. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and he frowned slightly. He wanted to change direction and continue flying. However, at that moment, the people below also sensed his presence. Immediately, someone cried out in alarm. "Are you from the 1,000 Mountain Grotto? Hurry up and help." It shook the 9 heavens. Lin Xian was stunned and looked down. In the next moment, he saw that there were people from the 1,000 Mountain Grotto among the people fighting below. Moreover, the leader was a Saint King. It seemed that it was impossible for him to escape. Therefore, he quickly descended. Opposite him were the experts from the Purple Grave Grotto and a few ancient clans. They were extremely nervous when they saw someone coming. Are the experts from the 1,000 Mountain Grotto here? However, when they saw that it was only Lin Xian who came down, they were all stunned. Then they sneered. It was just a battle servant, and a Saint Venerable battle servant at that. There was no difference between him and an ant. Chun Su, do you want to use such a person to help you? What a joke. The leading expert was called Elder Chun Su. At that moment, he was also frowning slightly. He said coldly, "Why are you here alone?" Lin Xian said, "I was following Princess Xueqi. However, I was chased by a Saint King from the Purple Spirit Grotto, so I let Princess Xueqi go first. Later, I brought that Saint King to two powerful demonic beasts. Only then was I able to escape." Was it the Purple Spirit Grotto again? Elder Chun Su's expression darkened. It seemed that he could not defeat them today. "Let's go." The people in front sneered. "Do you think it's possible for you to escape? It's impossible for you to not hand over something today. Hand over the treasure you found, and give me all your storage rings. I can consider taking your lives. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." The people in front were extremely powerful. Whether it was the number of Saint Kings or the number of half-step Saint Kings, they had the advantage. It was not easy for the Thousand Mountain Grotto to fight for so long and still hold on. Lin Xian did not plan to attack. Although he was powerful and had formations, he did not plan to show them. Just as everyone was in a difficult position, another voice came from afar. Then the earth shook and a terrifying force swept in all directions. Who dares to attack the people of the Thousand Mountain Grotto? With a roar, the earth split open, forming an endless canyon. The surrounding people's expressions changed. On the other hand, the people of the Thousand Mountain Grotto were delighted. Among them, Elder Chun Su exclaimed, "It was the Earth Saint King." Great! A figure came from afar like a god of war. The earth seemed to come alive under his feet. He brought him to the front in an instant. On the other side, the people of the Xiling Grotto exclaimed. Even the people of the ancient race looked cold. They naturally knew that the Earth Saint King was an expert of the earth element. He was very powerful and had boundless strength. His defense was strong, and he was a difficult opponent. Now that the other side had an additional Saint King, the situation would be different if they continued fighting. Therefore, the people of the Xiling Grotto said, "You are very lucky. Let's go." The leading elder waved his hand, and those people quickly left. "Damn it, we can't let them escape. Chase them." Elder Chun Su shouted angrily. They had suffered a lot before. Now that the Earth Saint King was here, they could take revenge. However, the Earth Saint King stopped them. "Forget it. Don't chase them." "Why?" Elder Chun Su wanted to ask more, but the Earth Saint King's face turned pale. Instantly, he spat out a mouthful of blood. "What happened? Are you injured?" Elder Chun Su was shocked. The others were also very nervous. Who could injure a Saint King? Moreover, it was a Saint King with such strong defense. Chapter 44:53. I'm fine. I came across a martial pagoda and went in to look for opportunities. I was injured by the guardian of the pagoda. The Earth Saint King took out an elixir to heal his injuries. At the same time, he briefly explained what had happened. Everyone was shocked when they heard it. Elder Chun Su said the same thing. "Did you say that Ling Tian was severely injured and his life was uncertain? Who on earth was that mysterious man? No matter who he was, it would be great." The people of Xiling Grotto Heaven were being arrogant now. They all laughed. They did not know that the mysterious person they were talking about was right next to them. "Hurry up and heal your injuries. We'll meet up with Princess Xueqi and young Master Yin." Elder Chun Su waved his hand and took out a saint weapon. He then led everyone away quickly. It turned out that after Xueqi and Lin Xian left, she went on her own and met young Master Yin and the others. She had no choice but to stay there for the time being. Later, the people of Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven found an ancient cave with a powerful seal. Obviously, there were unimaginable treasures in it. However, it also attracted other experts. Therefore, the people of Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven summoned other experts and gathered them quickly. They were searching for the ancient cave. After flying for about 3 days, the Saint weapon landed, and a group of people walked out. A cold voice came from the front. "Who is it?" "It's me." Elder Su took out a token. It shone brightly with the image of thousands of mountains on it. The people in front heaved a sigh of relief. Then 2 middle-aged men walked out. They said, "You're finally here. How's the situation?" The group asked as they walked. "The seal is very powerful. We can't break it in a short time. Moreover, the people of other grotto heavens will discover it as time passes. It's not good for us." At this moment, another group of people walked out from the front. The leader was young Master Yen. When young Master Yen saw the 2 Saint Kings, he smiled. However, when he saw a figure in the group, he immediately frowned. "It's you? Great." A cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. Just as he was about to order the Saint Kings to kill Lin Xian, Xueqi walked out from behind. He furrowed his brows, but he didn't issue any orders. After all, he didn't want to have a falling out with Xueqi. When Xueqi arrived and saw Lin Xian, she was overjoyed. "Are you all right?" "That was great. How did you escape the pursuit of the Saint King?" This scene stunned everyone. Was this still the incomparably cold Ice Mountain Fairy? Everyone was in disbelief. It should be known that Xueqi was always ice cold and expressionless. She never worried about anything. But now, he was actually worried about a battle servant. They felt as if they were dreaming. The saint rulers all frowned. They felt that something was not quite right. As for 9th young Master Yen, his face turned extremely ugly, and an extremely cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. He had already treated Xueqi as his woman, so he didn't allow anyone to get close to her. But now, Xueqi was actually so concerned about a battle servant. This filled him with killing intent. He would definitely not let this brat go. If he had the chance, he would personally kill him. Lin Xian frowned as he felt 9th young Master Yan's murderous intent. He sneered in his heart. Would 9th young Master Yan let him go? He also wouldn't let him go. If he had the chance, he wouldn't mind sending him to hell. As Lin Xian looked at Xueqi, who was in front of him, he smiled and said, "It's nothing. I used the 2 sunflowers to obstruct the Saint King. So, I left." Xueqi didn't doubt Lin Xian's words. After all, she didn't believe that Lin Xian alone could contend against a Saint King. At this moment, Elder Su frowned and asked, "Princess Xueqi, what's so special about this battle servant?" Xueqi was taken aback. Soon after, she realized that she had been too worried. She didn't seem like someone who would treat a battle servant. Elder Su took a deep breath and regained his composure. He then said coldly, "He's not ordinary. His formation skills are extremely high. With him here, we can break the seal." What? Is this really the case? The saint rulers were taken aback. If this was the case, then Princess Xueqi's behavior could be explained. "Brat, are your formations really amazing? Let's quickly come and take a look." The elder in front of them couldn't wait any longer. Xian walked forward and observed the formation. He then frowned. The formation was extremely complicated. It was built with the 5 elemental laws as its foundation. The people in the surroundings were also taken aback. They had studied it for a long time, but they didn't expect that this brat would be able to see through it so quickly. It seemed like this brat was really an expert in formations. Someone asked, "Is there a way?" Lin Xian nodded and said, "There is a way, but what?" Another elder asked. His name was Golden Wind Saint King, and he was 9th young Master Yan's protector. Lin Xian said, "There is a way to break the formation, but the process of breaking the formation and the energy required are too great. With just our paradise, it will be very troublesome. Even if we break the formation, we will consume a lot of energy. When other paradises come, it will be difficult for us to resist them. So, I think that it's better to spread the news. and let other experts use their power. Break the formation quickly. Brat, do you know what you were saying? Are you trying to give away our treasures? Do you want to die? Ninth Prince Yan's face was cold. Lin Xian looked at him and sneered. Do you think that if we don't spread the news, those people won't be able to find us? We are all paradises. Don't underestimate our strength. Also, I'm just giving a suggestion. As for the decision, it's up to the elders. After saying that, Lin Xian stood there and didn't say anything. The elders' eyes flickered, and they began to discuss. In the end, they nodded. All right, let's do it. Spread the news and let them come. Ninth Prince Yan's face was ugly. He felt like he had been slapped in the face. Even with his status, his words were actually useless. Instead, these elders actually listened to a battle servant. It really made him lose face. The news spread, and not long after, many people walked over. There were people from the 3 paradises. Other than that, there were also people from the ancient race. Seeing this, the elders felt that it was about time and said, Everyone, there is an ancient cave abode in front. Also, there is a very strong seal inside. We can only enter if we work together to break it. So, I hope that everyone can work together. Those who came knew that if they didn't contribute some strength, they wouldn't be able to enter. So, the paradises and families all sent some people. Then Lin Xian and Xueqi started to give orders. Xueqi was fine, but when they saw that Lin Xian was a battle servant and that he was ordering them around, their faces turned ugly. Chapter 44-54. However, after a while, they discovered that Lin Xian's formation was really powerful. It was even more terrifying than some of the older generation's formation masters. As such, they had nothing to say about it. With such power and formation mastery, the seal in front of them was finally broken. Soon after, a passage appeared. It's great! Upon seeing this, everyone was overjoyed. The passage had finally appeared, and they could go in. The people from the 1,000 Mountain Paradise heaved a sigh of relief. Where did Xueqi find such a formation master? Moreover, he had become a battle servant, and if they nurtured him well, it would be much more convenient for them to bring such a master along when they searched for treasures in the future. The people from the other paradises were also surprised, and many of them stared at Lin Xian. Such a genius formation master had unexpectedly been found by the 1,000 Mountain Paradise. It seemed like they would have to find a way to get rid of him after they finished searching the ancient cave. They didn't want the 1,000 Mountain Paradise to become too powerful. Lin Xian didn't pay any attention to these people's gazes. No matter what these people thought, he wasn't afraid of them. This was because he wasn't controlled by the life and death curse. The reason why he was still here was that he felt like he could use the paradises to obtain resources and strengthen himself. If there was any danger, he could leave at any time. All right, let's go and see what treasures are inside. The eyes of the elders from the 1,000 Mountain Paradise flickered as they walked inside. Lin Xian and Xueqi were together, and they both turned into flowing lights and disappeared. After the people from the 1,000 Mountain Paradise entered, the people from the other paradises and clans also started moving. Soon, they all entered the cave. After they entered, they discovered that there was a completely different world inside the cave. It was also a world of ice and snow, and all kinds of ice and snow appeared together. There were many icebergs in front of them, and it was a strange sight. Moreover, the temperature here was even colder. Everyone felt as if they were about to be frozen into ice cubes. Moreover, they discovered that there were some things sealed in the ice cubes. Some of them were demonic beasts, some were plants, and some were even spirit herbs. The people were surprised. It seemed like in the past, this cave must have been a celestial place. However, it had been completely frozen later on. If they could break the ice, then the treasures inside would be theirs. They did not act immediately because they found that the deeper they went, the the better the frozen things were. In fact, many people's eyes had turned red. This was because they discovered that there were some spirit herbs sealed in ice inside. In the outside world, there were even some that were extinct. Even Lin Xian was surprised. Not only was he an array master, he was also an alchemist. If he could refine these spiritual herbs into pills, it would be of great help to his cultivation. Furthermore, there was another matter. Xia Zhiyou's lifespan was running out. He had to think of a way to find the immortal medicine or the space-time sword or other heaven-defying items. Only then would he be able to prolong Elder Xia's life. While he was thinking, the others couldn't wait any longer. Hurry up and attack. These people directly attacked the frost. The frost didn't look thick, but it was even tougher than a saint artifact. He punched it, but there wasn't even a crack on it. However, these people began to attack frantically as if their lives depended on it. The eyes of the Saint Kings also flickered. He didn't immediately create a cave hand, because there was still a tunnel ahead. There might be something even better inside. Lin Xian didn't stop either. He also walked inside. After walking for a while, Xue Qi cried out in surprise. It was the ice phoenix fruit. She looked ahead and saw that there was a big tree sealed in the ice and snow ahead. There was a fruit on it that looked like a blue phoenix. It was the ice phoenix fruit. Xue Qi, I'll go get it for you. Ninth young master Yen smiled when he saw this. His body flickered, and he stretched out a big hand to grab the tree ahead. Boom! The ice mountain in front of them was shaking nonstop. However, it didn't shatter. Instead, Ninth young master Yen was knocked back. Damn it! Ninth young master Yen shouted angrily and attacked again. However, the ice mountain ahead was tougher than he had expected. He attacked several times, but he still couldn't break it. This made his expression even more unsightly. However, at this moment, an elder attacked. The gold-winged Saint King. He waved his hand, and a golden storm flew out with a powerful law. Finally, they broke through the iceberg. He waved his hand, and the ice phoenix fruit flew out and arrived in front of Ninth young master Yen. Ninth young master Yen stretched out his hand and caught the ice phoenix fruit. Then he walked toward Xue Qi. Speaking of which, Xue Qi, this is for you. Thank you. Xue Qi received the fruit and nodded. Then she said, if I find other precious spirit herbs later, I'll exchange them with you. Or when we get back, I'll give you an equivalent amount of dragon marrow. It was obvious that Xue Qi didn't want to owe Ninth young master Yen a favor. Ninth young master Yen said, Xue Qi, don't treat me like an outsider. We'll be a family sooner or later. However, Xue Qi's expression was ice cold. She said to Lin Xian, let's go. After she said that, she ignored Ninth young master Yen. As Ninth young master Yen watched the two of them leave, a cold glint appeared in his eyes. Humph! You dare to ignore me? One day, I'll make you crawl at my feet. A cold, killing intent appeared in his eyes. It was obvious that Xue Qi's attitude had angered him. More and more good things appeared in front of them. There were all kinds of strange flowers and strange fruits. The crowd was shocked. The crowd couldn't bear it anymore, and they attacked. Even Lin Xian couldn't bear it anymore. Boom, boom, boom. All kinds of explosions echoed out, and the ice mountain shattered. Not only did spirit herbs come out of it, but the frozen demonic beasts also opened their eyes one after another. It was as if they had come alive, and they attacked quickly. Boom. A giant black lizard connected the sky and the earth. It opened its mouth and spat out black fog, which turned two half-step holy kings into blood fog. Even their souls didn't manage to escape. A miserable shriek echoed out, and the crowd's scalp went numb. A holy king attacked and cut the other party in half. On the other side, other demonic beasts appeared. A great battle broke out, and the crowd didn't just attack the demonic beasts. They even attacked the other saints. After all, they were all fighting for precious spirit herbs. However, at this moment, the sky and the earth cracked, and a holy king was sent flying while spitting out blood. The crowd was shocked, and they discovered that it was a dandelion. However, it was extremely terrifying. The dandelion seeds formed a peerless divine sword that pierced through the sky and the earth. A holy king was injured in such a way. It was too terrifying. It was the same for Lin Xian, and he stared at the fiery dragon tree. The tree was very mystical, and it looked like a real dragon. It stood there with terrifying flames on its body. The ice around it shattered. The fiery dragon tree flew into the sky and burrowed into the earth. It wanted to escape. Chapter 44:55. This was good stuff. Ninth young Master Yan's eyes turned red when he saw this from afar. He wanted to order Golden Wind Sage King to snatch the treasure, but Lin Xian was faster. With a wave of the array formation, the fiery dragon tree was sealed and stored away. Ninth young Master Yan's eyes turned red. How could a battle servant have the right to take such a treasure? However, he did not attack immediately because there were still many spirit fruits around. It was worth it for him to attack with all his might. After all, Lin Xian could not run away. He would attack when he was safe. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Lin Xian attacked and obtained more than 10 spirit herbs. He was overjoyed. Ninth young Master Yan's eyes turned red. He had only managed to snatch 2 spirit herbs, which was not even 1/5 of what Lin Xian had. He could not bear it. On the other side, Xueqi had also gained something. At this moment, another Sage King was injured. This time, there were even more Sage Kings who were injured because they had provoked a plant. It was a vine. After breaking the ice, the leaves on it were drawn into the shape of a heavenly blade. It actually formed a powerful array formation, trapping everyone inside. Damn it. Was it really a plant? It was too scary. They did not know how long it had cultivated to know about arrays. They finally managed to escape. No one dared to provoke the vine again. At this moment, many snowmen appeared around them. These snowmen directly enveloped everyone. Lin Xian also punched out, but he found that it was useless. The snowmen melted and covered him. At the same time, they felt the world spinning. In the next moment, they realized that they had been frozen. However, they were frozen in the snow mountain and could still move. These people were frozen in different snow mountains. Lin Xian realized that Xueqi, Ninth Young Master Yan, Elder Jinfeng, and a few others were here. They were all from the 1,000 Mountain Cave. They heaved a sigh of relief. Great. At least there was no danger. Elder Jinfeng attacked the snow mountain a few times, but he could not get out. He frowned. What should he do? The young master could not get out for a while. Ninth Young Master Yan's face was gloomy. Xueqi looked around. It would be easier for us to get rare fruits now that we are in the snow mountain. He wasn't in a hurry to go back, so he decided to take a look first. Everyone nodded and continued to walk forward. Ninth Young Master Yan followed behind, his eyes sparkling. Very quickly, his lips curled into a smile. Elder Jin, don't you think this is a good opportunity? Elder Jinfeng was taken aback. Young Master, you want it? No one could leave this place for a while, and no one could enter. If something happened here, no one would be able to stop it. Xueqi will be mine sooner or later. I'm just trying to speed things up a little. I think it's nothing. Since young master has decided, I will do my best to assist young master. Since those two don't know what's good for them, why not just kill them? As for the battle servant next to Xueqi, you must capture him alive. I will make him wish he was dead. It was obvious that Ninth Young Master Yan was about to make a move. He took out a mysterious incense stick. Then he and Jinfeng swallowed the pill. In the next moment, he secretly lit the incense stick. He put it into his wide sleeves and then walked up. Xueqi, if you want any spirit herbs, just tell me. I will ask Elder Jinfeng to get them for you. Ninth Young Master Yen said. Xueqi was expressionless. There's no need. I can get them myself. Humph, you're still acting like an iceberg. Just keep pretending. Let's see if you're still an iceberg later. A cold smile appeared in ninth young Master Yan's eyes. Lin Xian, who was next to him, furrowed his brows. Something is wrong. He stopped. Wait, what's going on? Xueqi asked. Ninth young master. Yen was taken aback. What is this lad trying to do? Lin Xian said that it seems like there's poison. Everyone held their breaths and checked. What? Poison? The people around him were stunned. Even ninth young master Yan's pupils shrank. Damn it! How did this lad know? He didn't know that Lin Xian had the great dragon sword soul in his body. That was why the great dragon sword soul detected the aura when it entered his body. Then it killed the aura. That was why Lin Xian knew that the other people were checking. They didn't sense anything. However, Xueqi's expression changed. She felt that the law in her body seemed to have weakened. It's really poisonous. Ninth young master Yen shouted angrily. Elder Jin Feng. Elder Jin Feng slapped out 2 golden storms with his hands. They instantly engulfed the 2 disciples of the 1,000 Mountain Cave. Then the bodies of the 2 turned into a bloody mist. Even in death, the 2 of them refused to believe that they were often killed by their own elders. Xueqi was startled. She said, Elder Jin Feng, what are you doing? Are you betraying the 1,000 Mountain Cave? She was really shocked. Elder Jin Feng didn't say anything. Ninth young master Yen sneered. Xueqi, don't worry. Elder Jin Feng won't attack you. He'll listen to my orders. Damn it. Are you crazy? What are you trying to do? Xueqi stared at ninth young master Yen. Lin Xian also furrowed his brows. He sighed. Is this lad finally going to attack? But it's fine. The people outside probably don't know what kind of battle is going on here. It's a good place for me to attack. Xueqi, do you know? I've treated you as my own person since the first day I met you. We'll always be together. So I want to speed things up. Today, you'll be mine. After I go back, I'll ask my grandfather to propose marriage. Don't even think about it. Ninth young master, Yen snorted coldly. Ninth young master, Yen sneered. Is that so? It's not up to you to decide. After he spoke, he walked forward. Xueqi snorted coldly. If you come any closer, don't blame me for being rude. The law of ice surged out of his body. However, in an instant, she felt dizzy and almost fainted. She couldn't even stand steadily. Damn it, what did you do? She roared crazily. Ninth young master, Yen, sneered coldly. It's nothing. I just lit the incense. Damn it, you unexpectedly have such a thing. Xueqi's expression became unsightly. It was a terrifying item that ordinary people couldn't use. But why did this lad have it? Moreover, he used it to deal with her. Xueqi didn't dare to imagine what would happen if she couldn't detoxify it. She froze. With a loud shout, she sealed herself in ice. Attack! She shouted at Lin Xian. At the same time, Xueqi set up a terrifying array. Lin Xian also walked forward. I didn't expect that you would be in such a hurry to throw your life away. Fine, I'll deal with you today. Lad, you dare to speak to me in such a manner? You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Don't worry, I won't kill you. I'll just make you wish you were dead. Chapter 4456. Elder Jin, break this kid's limbs and cripple him. I'll teach him a good lesson later. As he spoke, he walked forward. His palm unleashed a terrifying power that swept out in all directions. The formation shook, but it did not break. At the same time, Lin Xian created several formations that enveloped Xueqi. Damn it! How dare you ruin my plans? Lord Yanjiu was furious. Then he said, Elder Jin, break this formation first. Then he would kill this kid. Elder Jin walked out, wanting to attack. However, Lin Xian stopped him. Your opponent is me. Humph! How dare a mere battle servant be so arrogant in front of me? Get lost! With a furious roar, thousands of golden storms swept toward Lin Xian. Lord Yanju was also disdainful. After this attack, Yi Fuqian should not be able to resist anymore. A terrifying storm exploded in front of him, and then it became extremely terrifying. However, when the storm disappeared, a figure stood there. What? He's not dead? Lord Yanzhou's eyes narrowed, and his face turned pale. Even Elder Jean Feng was stunned. How is this possible? Did he hide his strengths? He was really shocked. Even a half-step Saint King could not block his attack, unless he was a true Saint King. However, Yi Fuqian blocked it. This meant that Yi Fuqian had either hidden his strength, which was at the level of a Saint King, or he had a Saint King weapon. However, no matter which it was beyond his expectations. Lord Yanzhou also said, Elder Jean Feng, kill him first. Lord Yanzhou was going to break the formation himself. On the other side, Lin Xian sneered. It seems that no one will know if I kill you here. In that case, I don't need to hide my strength anymore. After that, Lin Xian roared, and endless golden flames appeared on his body. He was like the sun, shining in all directions. This sudden burst of strength made Elder Jean and Elder Jin's faces change. Jill was even more shocked. How is this possible? How can his body be so strong? His body is not weaker than a saint's. Elder Jean, catch him. He has secrets. I want his body refining technique. Jill roared crazily. He was truly overjoyed. If he could obtain such a secret technique, he would definitely be able to obtain it. At that time, who would be his match? Elder Jean Feng was also surprised. This kid actually had such a secret. Interesting. With a wave of his hand, an endless storm appeared in a flash, forming terrifying wind blades that circled around him. Then he slashed out with his sword and slashed forward. So what if Yi Fuqian's physique was strong? So what if he had the physique of a Saint King? He was a true sage king. Not only was his physique strong, but he had also completely surpassed his opponent in terms of precepts, strength, soul, and divine abilities. How could the other party compare to him? On the other side, Lin Xian also let out an angry roar. He took a step forward, and the golden light on his body swept out in all directions. With a palm strike, tens of thousands of golden crows appeared. Monstrous flames danced in the air, melting the surrounding ice. This attack was extremely powerful. Both of them exploded. The golden wind blades that filled the sky were actually defeated by this one card, causing them to lose their luster. It could be destroyed at any moment. Damn it! Elder Jean Feng roared. He did not expect Yi Fuqian to be so strong. With a roar, those dimmed golden wind blades became stronger again, turning into a peerless blade. The blade slashed down. Boom! With this slash, Lin Xian felt that his physique was under immense pressure. It was as if it was about to split open. He kept retreating, the blood in his body churning. At the same time, Yi Fuqian's attack came again. The golden storm that filled the sky turned into a golden lion. It charged forward. These were all formed by precepts, and they were enough to destroy everything. Its power was so strong that even a Saint King of the same level would not dare to underestimate it. Naturally, Lin Xian could also feel how terrifying this attack was. His body flickered as his speed increased to the extreme. At the same time, a terrifying demonic aura spread out from his body. Then, the spear of destruction flew out, piercing forward. The terrifying heaven and earth continued to shatter. This attack was powerful to the extreme. Boom! The Golden Wind Saint King was instantly sent flying. His arm was trembling nonstop, and his face was incomparably cold. Damn it! Yi Fuqian really did have a Saint King weapon. A Saint King's physique and a Saint King weapon made Yi Fuqian very strong. Compared to other half-step Saint Kings, he was much stronger. "Elder, are you all right?" Seeing this scene, ninth young Master Yan's face also became extremely ugly. He did not expect Elder Jinfeng to be unable to take down Yi Fuqian with his full strength. He also did not break the formation. He had already broken one formation, but there were still 3 more formations in front of him, enveloping Xueqi. He could not break these 3 formations. He could not walk in front of Yi Fuqian. He would not be able to fulfill his wish. So, he also attacked with all his might, and a Saint King weapon appeared in his hand. With a single strike, he charged forward. On the other side, Elder Jinfeng said, "Don't worry, young master. Although he has a Saint King weapon, his strength and physique are not inferior to a Saint King. However, he is not a true Saint King. In terms of superpower and soul, he is no match for me. Kid, I admit that you are very strong. But so what? Today, you will definitely die." Elder Jinfeng sneered coldly. Die. His soul power rushed over in an overwhelming manner. It was obvious that he wanted to destroy Lin Xian's soul directly. Competing with soul power, Lin Xian sneered coldly. He used his heavenly secret divine eyes, and a pair of golden eyes appeared behind him. They could look down on heaven and earth, as if they were the eyes of a god. Ninth young Master Yan's soul was instantly suppressed, and he vomited blood and was sent flying. If it were not for the protection of the Saint King weapon, he would have died. Damn it, how can his soul power be so strong? Elder Jinfeng's face also became ugly. He could feel that Yi Fuqian's soul was not weaker than his. How is this possible? This guy is just a Saint Venerable, and he is not even a half-step Saint King. Yet, he can compete with a Saint King. Who is he? Damn it, Elder Jinfeng roared, and he used his soul power to attack. He used his peerless superpower, and it was extremely powerful. Now, the only way he could defeat his opponent was with these superpower. Lin Xian used the Void Escape, and he kept dodging these terrifying superpower. Elder Jinfeng seemed to have found an opportunity, and he sneered. "Aren't you very strong? Why are you still dodging? If you have the ability, compete with me with superpower. As a Saint King, you can't even win against a Saint Venerable like me after fighting for so long. What right do you have to be arrogant here?" Lin Xian sneered. And then the golden light in his eyes exploded again. This time, he used the light of reincarnation. Chapter 4457. Buzz. Elder Jinfeng had wanted to use his soul to suppress Lin Fan, but when the light of the soul shot out, his face changed. He ran away quickly. However, he had used too much of his soul to suppress Lin Fan. Hence, he could not retract his soul completely. After that attack, his soul was injured, and he was sent flying while coughing up blood. Impossible! Damn it! Why do you have the light of reincarnation? Could it be that you are from the Misty Peak? He was really too shocked. Oh, you know about the light of reincarnation. Lin Xian was shocked as well. Seems like the reincarnation guardian should be from Ethereal Peak. Who are you? Elder Jinfeng roared. Ninth young master, Yen was shocked as well. Is he from Ethereal Peak? How is that possible? One must know that no matter how arrogant he was and how his status wasn't in Class 1, there was no way he could go against Ethereal Peak. But that should not be the case. If Lin Fan was from Ethereal Peak, why would he be captured by him as a battle servant? Don't believe him. He must have gotten the light of reincarnation by chance. He came from another world. He can't be from Ethereal Peak. Kill him with all your might. Elder Jinfeng came back to his senses. But he was bitter. Kill him with all his might. To be honest, he was confident before. But now he might not be able to do it. That was because the light of reincarnation had injured his soul severely. His strength had decreased tremendously. He could not bring out his best combat strength. Coupled with Lin Fan's physique and the terrifying Sage King weapon, he was in a passive position. Indeed, Elder Gene Feng was suppressed after the battle. As for Lin Xian, he was getting stronger. His god body seemed to have an endless amount of energy. Elder Gene Feng spat out blood, and cracks appeared on his body. The spear of destruction pierced through Elder Gene Feng. The power of the great dragon sword spirit roared. The roar of the dragon reverberated through the world. Then Elder Gene Feng's body was about to be torn apart. How is that possible? Ninth young master Yen was stunned. Elder Gene Feng was so severely injured that he forgot to attack. Elder Gene Feng roared crazily. To be honest, he had never dreamed that he would be defeated by a sacred master one day. Damn it, brat, you have thoroughly enraged me. Even if I have to damage my foundation, I will kill you. He roared, and the blood in his body burned continuously. It seemed like he was going to attack regardless of the consequences. A terrifying golden shadow appeared on his body. Endless great paths intertwined, as if they could destroy a world. At this moment, it was extremely terrifying. "Ha ha, kid, you're dead meat." Seeing this, ninth young master Yen knew that Master Jin Fengzhang was really angry. Under this attack, any Saint King of the same level would definitely die. Not to mention, it was this kid. Amidst this crisis, Lin Xian coldly snorted. A dragon-shaped sword appeared in his hand, emitting a resonant dragon cry. Then he slashed forward. Heaven and earth were split apart in an instant. Endless cracks spread out as the sword slashed towards Elder Gene Feng. Boom! Elder Gene Feng's body was split into two halves. His eyes were wide open in disbelief. How could this be? He let out a crazy roar that shook the 9 heavens. In the distance, ninth young master Yen was scared out of his wits. He knelt on the ground. His opponent had the strength to split a Saint King in half with a single slash. What was that? That sword shadow was too terrifying, wasn't it? Damn it! How dare you hurt me? In front of him, Elder Gene Feng roared. His body quickly healed. However, he realized that it was impossible. There was an extremely terrifying force that prevented his body from healing completely. The crack was abnormally terrifying. "Who are you?" "I am the one who will kill you." Lin Xian held the spear of great destruction in one hand and the dragon sword shadow in the other as he walked forward. His divine body was becoming more and more terrifying. At the same time, he waved the dragon-shaped sword shadow again and charged forward. Boom, boom, boom. The battle erupted once again. Not long after, Elder Gene Feng was split apart again. In the end, he completely turned into a bloody mist. He was terrified and wanted to escape. Lin Xian used the great dragon sword soul to create a sword path world that enveloped his opponent. Damn it! How dare you stop me? Brat, sister-in-law, you can't kill me. He roared at the sky. Lin Xian frowned. Indeed, his opponent was very powerful. He could defeat a Saint King now, but it was not that easy to kill one. His opponent was too strong. But so what? I can't kill you? You are too naive. Give me time, and no matter who you are, I will destroy your soul. Great dragon sword soul. Explode. Lin Xian directly shattered his opponent's storage ring and let the great dragon sword soul absorb all the power in the storage ring. The sword path world that was created kept attacking. Elder Gene Feng let out a roar as he fought against the ground. Lin Xian turned his head and stared at ninth young master Yen. Ninth young master Yen was so scared that his face turned pale. What are you trying to do? Don't come over. He kept retreating. At this point, he no longer wanted to break the formation. He did not want any wishes or restrictions. He just wanted to go back safely. Do you dare to kill me? I am your master. Life and death curse. Activate. Ninth young master Yen roared crazily as his palms kept forming seals. So, what if his opponent was strong? He was just a battle servant. He had 100 ways to make him kneel at his feet. However, he realized that Lin Xian was looking at him with a cold smile. Is the life and death curse that powerful? How is it possible that you are not affected? Are you not being controlled? Ninth young master, Yen was completely stunned. Lin Xian threw a slap at Yen Jiao. Crack! Young master Yen Jiao was sent flying with blood gushing out of his mouth. Countless cracks appeared on his body, and his blood stained the ground. He was in pain and fear. He wanted to escape. However, a foot stepped on his head. Don't you think it is too late to leave now? You tried to kill me time and time again. Do you think I will let you go? No, you can't kill me. My father is an elder, and my grandfather is a supreme elder. My identity is very important. You killed me. If you kill me, the 1,000 Mountain Grotto will not let you go. Is that so? Since your grandfather is a supreme elder, I will be dead if I let you go. So, go to hell obediently. Don't worry. I still remember what you said to me. I won't kill you so easily either. I'll let you have a taste of what pain is like. Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret divine eyes. Immediately, ninth young master Yan's soul was pulled into the lock of spring and autumn. He suffered the pain of his soul for thousands of years. An instant outside was thousands of years inside. Ninth young master Yen went completely crazy. He was like a demon king. It was too scary. Finally, when his soul came out, it touched a treasure in the depths of his soul. It was a rune. A terrifying aura surged out from his body. Who dares to attack my grandson? His shout shook the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Chapter 4458. That's great. Grandpa, save me. Hope appeared in Yen Jiao's eyes. His grandpa was the supreme elder, and the supreme sage had left something in his body to save his life. When his life was in danger, this life-saving imprint would appear. Even Elder Jin Feng, who was standing far away, laughed. Ha ha, kid, you're dead. I'll pay you back 10,000 times for the injuries you've inflicted on me. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a sharp light. When the voice sounded, his eyes shone with the light of reincarnation. It pierced through Yen Jiao's soul. Yen Jiao's soul was destroyed. He didn't believe that Lin Xian would dare to kill him. As for the rune that had been left in his soul, it had also shattered. A frenzied roar rang out. The human figure that had yet to condense also vanished into thin air. Only a roar could be heard. Who are you? I'll find you. How is this possible? Jin Feng, who was standing far away, was on the verge of death. The Supreme Elder's seal had given him hope. However, it was shattered in an instant. Damn it! That light was the light of reincarnation. He was in despair. In the end, his soul was destroyed by the great dragon sword soul. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He broke Yen Jiao's storage ring and used the great dragon sword soul to cover everything in it. He erased all memories of Yen Jiao's soul. He took some of the cultivation techniques and used his heavenly secret divine eyes to look at them. Then he destroyed them. He didn't keep any of the elixirs or spiritual herbs. Yen Jiao's grandpa was a supreme sage. It would be troublesome to keep them. However, he didn't waste them. He gave them all to the great dragon sword soul. Every time the great dragon sword soul's power increased, his strength would increase as well. Previously, he could only run when he faced a sage king. Now, he could kill a sage king. When Lin Xian felt the increase in strength, he used all his strength to strengthen the great dragon sword soul. He shot out a ball of 9 suns divine fire. It enveloped Yen Jiao's body and turned him into ashes. Then he walked forward. The formation in front of him shone brightly. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the formation cracked. Xue Qi, who was inside, looked extremely pale. The situation was very wrong. As she looked at Lin Xian, a trace of fear subconsciously appeared in her eyes. What did she see? Although she had been poisoned previously, she had still seen the previous battle. The other party had actually killed a sage king. Furthermore, that person had killed ninth young Master Yen and destroyed the talisman left behind by the Supreme Elder. Everything was too shocking. Was this really just a battle servant? Especially when he saw that Chu Feng was completely unaffected by the life and death curse. He was even more astonished. The other party wasn't a battle servant at all. The other party was a genius from another world who had been hiding beside them. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Then he said, "Something's wrong with you. Let me help you expel the poison first." Xueqi was very scared. After all, she had seen Lin Xian's secret, and she was afraid that Lin Xian would kill her to silence her. However, she was really very weak right now. She couldn't beat him at all, so she could only close her eyes and resign herself to fate. She could feel the other party walking in front of her. The other party's physique and vitality were like a furnace of heaven and earth. The other party's great power shocked her. At the same time, she could feel a piercingly cold aura rushing into her body. It seemed to make her originally weak nomological laws become brighter. Xueqi opened her eyes and looked at this scene in surprise. Chu Feng didn't kill her. He was really helping her. But why didn't he kill her? She already knew his biggest secret. She opened her mouth and wanted to ask something, but Lin Xian told her to shut up and focus on recovering from her injuries. After he spoke, Lin Xian used the great dragon sword soul. He wanted to destroy the mysterious aura in her body. However, Lin Xian was wrong this time. The great dragon sword soul could destroy everything. However, the poison in Xueqi's body wasn't fatal. It wasn't like the great sage's corpse poison. It was another kind of poison. Logically speaking, the great dragon sword soul shouldn't fear any poison, and it should be able to destroy it. However, this time, a strange fluctuation came from the depths of the snowy mountain. Xueqi's body shivered. She could feel that her ice laws became stronger, and they flew out uncontrollably. Her aura, which she had already suppressed, erupted out once again. Lin Xian was also surprised. The great dragon sword soul was ejected, and he immediately sensed the chilly aura. His divine body shone brightly, and the 9 suns' divine fire engulfed it. At the same time, he felt his blood boiling. Damn it! What's going on? Lin Xian discovered that Xueqi had already flown over. Then his vision became blurry, and it seemed like he didn't know what was going on. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Xian finally woke up. When he opened his eyes, the first thing he did was to put up a defense. However, he discovered that he wasn't in any danger, as Xueqi was next to him. However, when he saw their current situation, he was dumbfounded. What's going on? Lin Xian realized that the armor he was wearing was also gone. Did something ridiculous happen between the two of them? It can't be, right? He tried to recall, but he discovered that he couldn't remember anything. He stole a glance at Xueqi, and when he discovered that she still hadn't woken up, he heaved a sigh of relief. However, he quickly furrowed his brows, as his heavenly divine eyes couldn't detect the poison in Xueqi's body anymore. However, it seemed like the situation wasn't good. There were flame marks on her body, and it seemed like she had been injured by the 9 suns' divine body. Lin Xian's 9 suns' divine body was extremely tough, and it was one of the strongest bodies in the universe. Normally, Lin Xian wouldn't use the 9 suns' divine fire, so it didn't matter if Xueqi stayed by his side. However, he didn't know what had happened before. Although he had used the 9 suns' divine fire to detoxify her, she had been severely injured. However, he was also seriously injured by the 9 suns' divine flames. From the looks of it, he was on the verge of death. Lin Xian felt quite awkward. When he was with Murong Qingchen and Shen Jingqiu, he was very clear-headed, and he knew how to control his divine body's power. However, this time, It seemed like it had exceeded his expectations. He had to quickly save her. Lin Xian had used the law of wood to protect her life, and he had even taken out an elixir for her to consume. However, it still wasn't enough. The divine fire's destructive power was probably extremely strong. It seemed like he had to look for an ice-based super treasure in order to get rid of her injuries. Lin Xian brought Xueqi with him as he walked forward. At the same time, he used his heavenly divine eyes. He sensed an extremely terrifying aura ahead of him, and it seemed like even his 9 sons' divine body was threatened. It seemed like it was an ice-based super treasure. Lin Xian couldn't help but speed up. Chapter 44:59. In front of him was a layer of silver. The branches of the plants were like ice dragons baring their fangs and brandishing their claws. The ice here was even more terrifying. Lin Xian had no choice but to use his divine body to defend himself. He had already put Xueqi into the Great Sage Tower. Whitey also jumped out. Her eyes widened as she said, "It's so cold here." Lin Xian also frowned. It shouldn't be like this. Even with his physique, he could feel the coldness. What level of ice was this? Suddenly, a gust of wind blew over and swept toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian dodged the gust of wind and continued walking in the direction he had come from. After walking for a while, a terrifying gust of wind would sweep toward him, as if it was leading the way for him. Finally, he arrived in front of him. There was an ice valley in front of him. It was as if a giant had torn open a crack in a mountain. Inside, there was even more terrifying cold ice. Moreover, there was a stone tablet in front of him. It was made entirely of ice and was abnormally cold. The surroundings seemed to be a cave residence. Not only did Lin Xian find the stone tablet, but he also found a table and chairs made of ice and a cave residence. Someone had once lived here. Lin Xian found that everything around him was very simple. He didn't know who lived here. However, he was sure that this person wasn't an ordinary person. Could it be the great sage who had died before? Or could it be an even more terrifying existence? Lin Xian didn't know. At this moment, a scroll on the table suddenly shone brightly. Then, it turned into a gust of ice and instantly enveloped Lin Xian. Buzz, a terrifying power erupted, and Lin Xian and Whitey were instantly sealed in ice. In the next moment, Lin Xian roared toward the sky. The power of his divine body erupted and cracked the ice. At the same time, the 9 sons' divine fire also swept out and melted the ice into snow that fell from his body. He put Whitey away, and his eyes shone with a biting cold light. "Who is it? Why are you acting so sneakily? Even if you want to attack me, do you think that you can attack me just because you brought me here?" He also felt that everything along the way was too strange. It seemed that someone had purposely asked him to come here. At this moment, a low chuckle was heard. It was as if a crow was roaring in the dark night. It was very strange and made people's scalps tingle. Even Lin Xian felt his hair stand on end. He carefully examined it and found that it was coming from the scroll in front of him. He snorted coldly and raised his hand. A beam of sword chi flew out, intending to split the scroll apart. He discovered that although the scroll looked simple and unadorned, it was actually able to deflect his sword chi. At the same time, a voice was heard. As expected of the 9 yang divine body, it was extremely masculine. In other words, "You are the only one who can break my ice." It was a woman's voice. Lin Xian frowned when he heard it. "Who exactly are you?" "I'm just a soul that's about to dissipate. After waiting for so many years, the 2 of you are finally here." Lin Xian snorted coldly. "You're the one who brought me here." "Wrong. Not only you, but also that woman. Did you think that I wouldn't know if you kept her away?" Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He suddenly remembered what happened before. "You were the one who caused trouble." "That's right, kid. Don't you have to thank me? That woman can be considered a peerless fairy. You won't be at a disadvantage. Lin Xian snorted coldly and slapped out. His golden hand grabbed the scroll. However, the scroll was like a swimming dragon and instantly dodged. Kid, aren't you a little too impatient? I have a good fortune for you. Creation? What creation? Lin Xian was puzzled. He was very suspicious of the other party's motive. 9 yin and 9 yang, which was stronger? Yin and yang coexisted, and the world was called the emperor. This was a debate that had been going on since ancient times. No one knew which of the two was stronger. As for merging the two, it was even more impossible. The simple yin-yang sex laws of yin and yang were possible, but it was too difficult to merge the 9 yin and 9 yang. I just didn't expect to meet the successor of the 9 yang when my soul was about to be destroyed. Moreover, I met someone who was very suitable for the 9 yin inheritance. The heavens really treated me well. The successor of the 9 yin. When Lin Xian heard this, he was shocked. The 9 yang divine body was the most masculine, and the 9 yin divine body was the most yin and cold. This was also one of the most terrifying physiques in the starry sky. Lin Xian didn't expect that he would be able to see the 9 yin inheritance. He took Xue Qi out of the great sage's body and said, "The 9 yang divine body is the successor of the 9 yin divine body. Are you saying that she's suitable to be the successor of the 9 yin divine body?" That's right, the soul spoke. She had cultivated the mysterious ice art since she was young, and it was an authentic ice-based inheritance. Moreover, she probably didn't know that her bloodline was also extraordinary. Her bloodline didn't come from her family, but from a gift from the heavens. Even so, it wasn't easy to get the 9 yin divine body's inheritance. In the past, 2 people had come here and received the inheritance. In the end, they couldn't bear the power, and their souls were destroyed. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He knew that it was extremely difficult to get a powerful inheritance. In the past, he had almost died before he managed to cultivate the divine body. He looked at Xue Qi and poured his power into her. Xue Qi woke up from her dream, and her face instantly became red. This was because she recalled what had happened before. She looked at Lin Xian. Her eyes were filled with sorrow. Lin Xian was also stunned and did not know what to say. After a moment of silence, he finally spoke. After a moment of silence, he calmed down and said, "Don't think about anything else. I have to tell you that your bloodline and the magical power you cultivated are suitable for the 9 yin divine body's inheritance. However, it's extremely dangerous. I'm afraid that you will die. Do you want to accept this inheritance?" Su Emo told her about it, and Xue Qi was taken aback. The 9 yin divine body's inheritance? She was an ice-based saint, so how could she not have heard about it? However, she didn't expect that she would be so lucky as to get the legendary 9 yin divine body's inheritance. Xue Qi nodded and said, "I'm willing to accept it. Think about it carefully. If you fail, your soul will probably be destroyed." Lin Xian reminded her. Xue Qi said, "The martial path's cultivation is going against heaven's will, and I won't let it go even if there's a slim chance of survival." When Lin Xian saw that she was so insistent, he didn't say anything else. After all, even he wouldn't give up such a peerless inheritance, as it was worth taking a risk. The scroll in front of her shone brightly. Countless symbols flickered, and they turned into many characters that flickered in the sky. This was the 9 yin divine body's inheritance. Xue Qi's expression became grave, and she suppressed everything that had happened before in her heart. She took a deep breath and started accepting the inheritance with her full power. In an instant, the symbols rushed into her mind. In the next moment, her body swayed, and boundless black ice condensed on her body. She let out a roar. It was too cold. It was 1,000 times or even 10,000 times colder than the black ice art that she cultivated. Chapter 4460. Xue-Qi used the profound ice arts to resist it. At the same time, the bloodline hidden in her body erupted. Even so, it was still very painful. Lin Xian was naturally able to sense how terrifying the black frost was. He unleashed the Nine Suns' divine fire to resist it. At the same time, he pushed it far away, his eyes flickering. On the other side, a soul floated out. Its soul light was already very dim. It was obvious that it would soon disappear. She looked ahead and sighed as well. Was it a little too much? Could it be that the Nine Yin inheritance couldn't be continued? Lin Xian asked, "Senior, you chanted a chant before, 9 Yin and 9 Yang. Which one is stronger, and which one is weaker? When Yin and Yang coexist, one will become the emperor of the world." Was there really someone who could fuse the 9 Yin and 9 Yang? The soul sighed. "I don't know. That was just a chant passed down from ancient times. I don't know whether there really was someone who managed to fuse the two. However, I can tell you something. When the 9 Yang divine body reached great mastery, it would be comparable to a great emperor. It was the same for the 9 Yin body. In the ancient times, someone obtained 2 inheritances and wanted to fuse them together. However, he went crazy. In the ancient times, someone obtained 2 inheritances. This time, he didn't cultivate them. Instead, he comprehended them from the 2 inheritances. He managed to cultivate the Tao of Yin and Yang and became a Yin-Yang great emperor. In the endless years, several great emperors appeared. They were the 9 Yang divine body and the 9 Yin body. However, it was too difficult to fuse the two together. However, if one managed to fuse them together, one's physique would become extremely powerful. My guess is that it wouldn't be weaker than the Crown Prince's physique. Is the Crown Prince really that powerful? Lin Xian was surprised. Of course, that's because you haven't heard of how powerful the great emperors are. The descendants of the great emperors have the same bloodline as the great emperors. Moreover, they are the first generation. When those people grow up, they will become extremely heaven-defying. Of course, none of them will be able to become a great emperor again. This was because the bloodline in their bodies was their greatest help, but it was also their greatest restriction. Even so, they were still supreme existences that could sweep through the universe. Although the 9 Yang divine body was powerful, it could only be ranked 11th in the myriad heavens rankings. The 9 Yang divine body was only ranked 11th. Lin Xian was completely stunned. That soul had said that it was right, because the top 10 all had the physique of an imperial prince. What about the 9 Yin body? Lin Xian asked. According to the soul, the 9 Yin body was ranked 12th. However, she coldly snorted. This was only because there were less descendants of the 9 Yin body than the 9 Yang divine body. Otherwise, how could the 9 Yang divine body be ranked below the 9 Yang divine body? Upon hearing this, Lin Xian smiled, awkwardly. It seemed that the battle between the 2 godly bodies had been quite fierce. Lin Xian already knew that there were clans of the ancients and monarch clans. He had even seen many extreme weapons. However, he had never seen the real emperor's son before. However, thinking about it, there must be some on the buried emperor's star. He was really looking forward to having a battle with such a person. The soul looked at Lin Xian and said, "Brat, don't think that you can be arrogant just because the 9 Yang divine body is ranked 11th. That was referring to the 9 Yang divine body that had reached large success. There were many descendants of godly bodies that were killed before they could fully mature. Therefore, you should try to keep a low profile in the future." "I know." Lin Xian nodded. At this moment, Xue-Qi suddenly roared. Immediately after, she spat out a mouthful of blood, and her body was covered in black frost. Her body fell backwards. Seeing this scene, the soul cried out in alarm. "Not good. Am I going to fail?" Lin Xian took a step forward, and caught the falling body. He felt an extremely terrifying ice-cold energy coming from his hands, as if it wanted to completely freeze him. What should he do? Lin Xian looked at the soul. There's no other way. It seems that it's too difficult. However, she was still persevering, unwilling to give up. If she died like this, it was only a matter of time. Lin Xian sighed. Is there no other way? The soul suddenly sneered coldly. There's a way, but I'll give you another opportunity. As he spoke, he waved his hand and shot out a dense fog that engulfed Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt dizzy, and his divine awareness became fuzzy again. Damn it, is this old thing using this kind of technique on me again? Lin Xian could already guess what was going to happen next. However, he was already unable to resist anymore. Xue Qi felt that she was extremely cold, as if she was going to be frozen by 10,000 years old ice. As a genius of the ice element, she was never afraid of ice. However, this time, she was really afraid. It seemed as if the ice wanted to seal her soul in ice. Suddenly, she felt a warm feeling coming from behind her. It was as if a sun had fallen into a snowy mountain. It allowed her to find hope. She grabbed the sun and didn't let it go. Looking at the scene before her, Soul smiled. She rushed out of the cave and said, I wonder if my method will work. However, this was her last chance. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. The people who had entered Mount Han also quickly retreated. A month had already passed. In the land of Mount Han, a storm had begun to blow, freezing everything. The Saint Kings couldn't stay any longer. They could only retreat. This time, every grotto heaven and clan had suffered losses. Of course, there were also gains. Many people had obtained spirit fruits and all kinds of opportunities. Their strength had increased greatly. As for their companions, many of them had also perished in there. The people of Xiling Grotto Heaven gathered outside. Their faces turned ugly. This time, young Masterling Tian was seriously injured and poisoned. It seemed that he was in imminent danger. After they came out, they immediately left. They had to ask the Supreme Elder for help. Fu Hongya followed them expressionlessly. However, he was relieved because he was no longer under the control of the life and death curse. He went back to get more resources. On the other side, Yin Su and the others came out of Green Hill Paradise. Meng Hao and the others also came out of vast paradise with smiles on their faces. They had also gained some gains. It seemed that they would have to go into seclusion for a while. The others did the same. On the other hand, the people of Thousand Mountain Paradise were frowning. They had been happy for a while when young Masterling Tian was injured. Now, they could finally give Violet Spirit Paradise a blow. However, they soon realized that something was wrong. Yan Jiu and Xue Qi hadn't come out yet. Not only that, but Elder Jin Feng also hadn't come out. He was a Saint King. What was going on? Could it be that something dangerous had happened? They were extremely anxious. The identities of these two people were not ordinary. Let's wait patiently. Perhaps something has delayed them. The Heavenly Strategy Elder said in a deep voice. The people of Thousand Mountain Paradise waited here. Chapter 4461. At the same time, in the endless mountains of Thousand Mountain Grotto, there was a floating palace. This was the core area of Thousand Mountain Grotto. Ordinary people could not come here, because this was the place where the Supreme Elder was in charge. At this moment, the Supreme Elder in the palace suddenly opened his eyes and let out a crazy roar. Above the 9 heavens, thousands of miles of space collapsed, and the stars in the sky dimmed. The entire Thousand Mountain Cave was shaking violently. What happened? Everyone in Thousand Mountain Grotto was stunned. The elders all flew into the sky and looked into the distance. It was the sagely heaven's old ancestor who was angry. Tsang Tianya, Who provoked this living fossil? The sagely heaven's old ancestor was one of the supreme elders. He was so strong that he had reached the great sage realm. Such a person was extremely terrifying. Normally, no one would dare to provoke him. Even the mansion master of Thousand Mountain Grotto would not dare to be presumptuous in front of him. Now that he was angry, it was really surprising. At this moment, countless streams of light streaked across the sky. The leader was a middle-aged man. He asked nervously, "Father, what happened? Is there a problem with your cultivation?" This person was the sagely heaven's old ancestor's son, Yen Josie's father. His name was Elder Yen Mo. An old voice came from the palace, filled with endless anger. Ju-er's soul jade tablet was broken. "He has fallen. Investigate this matter for me. I don't care who did it. I want to destroy his soul and spirit. I will not let go of anyone related to him." What? Hearing this, Elder Yen Mo was instantly stunned. His son had been killed? How could this be? His eyes instantly turned red. The surrounding people also knelt on the ground. "Old ancestor, please calm down. We will go investigate now. Follow me." With a roar, Yen Mo rushed out with his men. In the next moment, everyone in Thousand Mountain Grotto knew about it. Furthermore, the people of Thousand Mountain Grotto gathered into countless groups and charged towards Mount Han. In Mount Han, at this moment, the two grotto heavens and the ancient race had all left. The only ones left were the people of Thousand Mountain Grotto. At this moment, these people were extremely anxious. Several days had already passed, and the power of Mount Han had become incomparably cold. Those people should have come out long ago. Why was Yen Jiu and Xue Qi still nowhere to be seen? Could it be that they had all died? That's impossible. The heavenly strategy elder shook his head. Both of them had Saint King weapons. Even if they couldn't defeat a Saint King, they could at least protect themselves. It was impossible for him to have died in there. The others were also puzzled. At this moment, they suddenly looked up at the sky. Countless figures appeared in the sky. They were like gods and demons. Their powerful auras caused the snow mountain below to crumble. What a terrifying team of saints. Is someone going to attack this place? The people of Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven went crazy. They felt as if they were facing a great enemy. A moment later, they sensed that these people were from the Thousand Mountain Grotto, which caused them to be even more confused. What's going on? Why are there so many people? Tiansu and the others took the lead and flew up. They discovered that the one leading the team was the Yen Mo. He hurriedly cupped his fists and asked, "What happened? You still have the face to ask me?" Elder Yen Mo roared out in rage. The aura on his body was incomparably terrifying as he dashed forward. The heavenly strategy elder's pupils constricted. He shot out a ray of light to block the attack. In the next moment, he was forced back. The people around him also vomited blood. What's going on? Is this guy crazy? The heavenly strategy elder was also furious. Yen Mo, don't think that you can do whatever you want just because your father is the supreme elder. I'm also an elder of the Thousand Mountain Grotto. What right do you have to attack me? The other Saint Kings were also puzzled. That's right, Elder Yen Mo. Is there a misunderstanding? We've never offended you. Yen Mo's eyes were red. You've never offended me? My son, Yen Jiu, is already dead in there. How did you protect him? If you can't find the enemy, you'll all die. What? The Earth Saint King and the others were stunned. The heavenly strategies elder's eyes also narrowed. Cold sweat immediately flowed down his face. Although he was furious earlier, if Yen Jiu was really dead, the situation was not good. Yen Mo was not the only one who was furious. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor was furious too. He was a supreme saint. How were they going to explain themselves when they returned? It was impossible. Yen Jiu had a Saint King weapon, and a rune mark left behind by the holy heaven's old ancestor. Even if he met a powerful enemy, he should be able to survive. The other Saint Kings were also puzzled. Who was so powerful that they dared to kill Yanjiu? The heavenly strategy elder also walked up and said, Yen Mo, we don't know what's going on either. When we were inside, we suddenly realized that the land of Mount Han had become terrifying. It was as if it was going to freeze everything again. So we retreated. When we came out, we realized that Yanjiu and Princess Xueqi were not there, so we waited here. We thought that the two of them were delayed by something. We did not expect Yanjiu to be dead. The people around them were also stunned. Princess Xueqi was not there either? Oh my heavens! If Yanjiu had died in there, the other old ancestor would be furious too. When that happened, how would the 1,000 Mountain Grotto shake? They did not dare to imagine. Yenemo said, I don't care what excuses you have. Wait for your punishment when you return. Now, everyone, follow me into Mount Han. He roared, and the group of saints behind him flew into the air. They formed a terrifying formation and charged into the land of Mount Han. At the same time, a group stayed behind to watch over the heavenly strategy elder and the others. What should we do? The Earth Saint King asked. The heavenly strategy elder's face turned ugly. What could he do? He could only wait. He had to admit that the group led by Yen Mo this time was too powerful. Even though Mount Han had become so terrifying, they still charged into the land of Mount Han. However, at this moment, the land of Mount Han was already covered in snow. It was impossible to search. Moreover, they did not know where Yanjiu had died. They could only search aimlessly. Just like that, another 5 days passed. Yen Mo and the others still had not returned. Outside, the heavenly strategy elder and the others' faces turned even uglier. During these days, they carefully recalled the whole incident and realized that their situation was very bad. Yanjiu had died. As the elders who led the group, it would be difficult for them to escape. The group that was guarding them was led by an elder. They said, Tiansu, you are really wrong this time. Don't you know Yanjiu and Xueqi's identities? You did not follow them. Let's see how you are going to explain yourself when you return. This time, Yanjiu has died. I guess you will be punished severely. Moreover, Princess Xueqi has not returned. If she has died, you will die. The heavenly strategy elder's face was extremely gloomy. The great emperor, holy king, and the others also had ugly expressions. Chapter 4462. As night fell, the wind and snow continued to fall. The power of Mount Han was extremely terrifying. Even the moon could not be seen in the sky. It was extremely dark all around. At this moment, Elder Tiansu seemed to have made a decision. He roared and suddenly attacked. He attacked the elder of the team and sent him flying. Then he roared, Why are you still not attacking? Are you waiting to die? The Earth Saint King and the others were stunned at first. Then they said, Let's attack. We will die if we go back. Now was the best time to escape. When the 1,000 Mountain Cave came, there were 7 Saint Kings. Other than Elder Jin Feng, who had died, there were 6 left. At this moment, the 6 of them attacked together and were extremely powerful. Damn it, how dare you attack? Do you want to betray the 1,000 Mountain Cave? The elder of the team roared crazily. Elder Tiansu and the others said, Sorry, we don't want to die. We don't want to go back and suffer. Let us go, and we won't kill you. After that, their attacks became even more terrifying. A long sword appeared in Elder Tiansu's hand. It was tens of thousands of miles long. With a slash of the sword, the mountains and rivers were all shattered. The Earth Saint King roared angrily. Thousands of miles of land collapsed, forming countless rock giants. They charged out crazily. The 6 of them attacked crazily. They did not hold back at all. However, in the end, 2 of them were caught. Elder Tian Su, the Earth Saint King, and the other 3 escaped. Damn it, the leading elder shouted angrily. At the same time, he took out the array and sent a voice transmission. In Mount Han, Yan Mo got the news of the array and was instantly furious. How dare they escape? Men, catch them! He sent out 2 more teams to kill their way out of Mount Han to pursue the Heavenly Strategies elder and the others. As for him, he continued to lead people to search for them in Mount Han. In the great snow mountain, in an ancient cave residence, Lin Xian opened his eyes. In the next moment, when he saw the scene in front of him, he was stunned. At this moment, Xueqi also opened her eyes. She seemed to have had a very long dream. In the dream, she was surrounded by the sun and ice. However, when she opened her eyes and saw the scene in front of her, she was also stunned. In the next moment, she was stunned, and her face instantly turned red. Lin Xian stood up and said, "I'll go out first." After saying that, he walked out of the cave and let out a long breath. What do you think? Did he succeed? At this moment, a weak voice sounded. Lin Xian turned his head and saw that it was the soul. He wanted to get angry, but he found that the soul had become extremely weak. It looked like it would dissipate at any moment. He sighed. He should have succeeded, right? Let her come out and let me take a look. My soul is incomparably excited. Her greatest wish was for the succession of the 9 Yin tribe to be passed down. After a short while, Xueqi came out. Her face was still flushed. When she saw the soul, she was also stunned. The soul asked, "Did he really obtain the inheritance?" Xueqi nodded and thanked him. "Good. The heavens have not forsaken me. I must continue to bring the 9 Yin inheritance to greater heights." That soul grew darker and darker until it finally dissipated. Xueqi knelt down and kowtowed 3 times respectfully. "Senior, please don't worry. I won't let down the 9 Yin tribe's inheritance." Lin Xian also bowed deeply. Because of what the soul had done, the information about the 9 Yin tribe's inheritance had appeared in his mind. This meant that as long as he wanted to, he could also cultivate the 9 Yin tribe's inheritance. Of course, it was too dangerous to fuse the 9 Yin tribe's inheritance with the 9 Yang tribe's inheritance. Xueqi stood up and looked at Lin Xian. She didn't know what to say. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, "I don't know how much time has passed, but I think we should quickly leave." "Are you going to leave?" Xueqi asked. Her eyes were filled with disappointment. This guy has already done such a thing. Shouldn't he say something? Lin Xian said, "I don't plan to leave for the time being. I want to continue staying in the 1,000 Mountain Paradise." Xueqi raised her head, and hope appeared in her eyes. However, she quickly asked, "Aren't you afraid that I will reveal your secret? I've seen what you've done before." "I don't think you will." Lin Xian revealed a smile. Xueqi's face became even redder. She really wouldn't reveal it, as she was now his woman. However, this damned fellow, why didn't he mention this matter at all? "Let's go." Lin Xian waved his hand and said, "Let's go." Xueqi nodded and revealed a gentle look. If other people were here, they would surely be startled. Is this still the same Ice Mountain Fairy? The 2 of them left the snowy mountain. Xueqi had already comprehended the 9 Yin tribe's inheritance, and she shot out a black frost, which caused a crack to appear on the snowy mountain. The 2 of them then left. After they left, Lin Xian furrowed his brows. He discovered that the whole Mount Han had become even more terrifying than before. He must quickly leave. He guessed that this was related to Xueqi obtaining the 9 Yin tribe's inheritance. The whole Mount Han would probably be sealed in ice. After they walked for 2 days, they suddenly discovered some people in front of them. The 2 of them became alert, but Xueqi was taken aback. She said that it was the Paradise's people. She took out her badge and released the 1,000-mountain phantom. The people in front of them exclaimed in surprise, "That's our 1,000-mountain paradises badge." A group of people instantly flew over. They were led by 3 saint kings. When they saw Xueqi and Lin Xian, they heaved a sigh of relief. "Princess Xueqi, it's great that nothing happened to you." Xueqi regained her ice-cold appearance. She nodded and asked, "What happened? Why did you all come here?" "The saint kings that came here before didn't have such people." Lin Xian didn't say anything. After all, he didn't want to reveal his identity yet. The 3 saint kings said, "Don't you know? 9th young master Yen died, and the holy heaven's old ancestor showed his might. Elder Yen Mo brought countless teams of saints to search for him." Upon hearing this, Xueqi's pupils contracted. Did they already know? Could it be that the matter was about to be discovered? However, at this moment, Lin Xian shook his head and told her to calm down. When he attacked, only Xueqi knew about it. No one else knew about it. As for the great saint's seal, it was destroyed by him before it could even appear. The other party surely didn't know about it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been searching for him so aimlessly. Yen Jiu was unexpectedly killed. Who killed him? Xueqi also calmed down. She said, "I also don't know. I was also trapped for the past few days, and it took me great effort to come out. Let's go." Yes. The 3 saint kings led their teams and protected Xueqi. They quickly brought Xueqi and Lin Xian and left. When they came out, they heaved a sigh of relief. They discovered that there were still 2 teams here. Where are the others? Did they all go back? Xueqi asked. The Heavenly Strategies elder and his companions have already escaped. They even injured our 1,000-mountain paradises members. We have already sent people to hunt them down. How did this happen? Xueqi was taken aback, but she quickly understood. Since Yen Zhou had died, the elders who led the teams would surely be punished severely. The Heavenly Strategies elder and his companions wanted to live, so they seized the opportunity to escape. Chapter 4463. After this, Xueqi and Lin Xian rested here. During this time, Xueqi transmitted her voice to him. "Do you really not want to leave? If you leave now, I will create an opportunity for you. You should quickly leave." Xueqi was quite worried. After all, his grandfather was a great sage. Lin Xian shook his head and transmitted his voice to her. "I won't leave for now. This is because I still have many things to do. I still have to kill people." Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Xueqi fell silent. Since he had been suppressed and turned into a battle servant, his friends must have suffered the same fate. Thinking about it, Lin Xian would definitely make a move on the grotto heaven. If it had been in the past, she would have immediately suppressed or killed such a person. However, Xueqi wouldn't attack him now. After all, she was already his subordinate. She was quite conflicted, and she didn't know what she should do. After waiting for 2 days, Xueqi said, "Elder Yen Mo still hasn't come back. I want to go back first. I am quite tired, and we have already escorted you back." After a short while, 2 teams escorted the 2 of them back to the 1,000-mountain paradise. On the way back, they ran into some other teams which were sent by Black Ice Ancestor. Black Ice Ancestor was Xueqi's grandfather, and he was also a supreme elder. After he learned about Yen Zhou, he was worried that Xueqi would be in danger. This was why he sent people to receive her. When they saw that Xueqi was fine, they heaved a sigh of relief. After this, the 2 of them returned to the 1,000-mountain paradise and started their secluded cultivation. Xueqi's harvest this time was the greatest. She had obtained the 9 Yin inheritance, which was a peerless inheritance. As long as she didn't die, she would surely become one of the few peerless experts in the starry sky. Lin Xian had also obtained great harvests. In the snowy mountain, he had obtained several hundred spirit herbs. At the same time, his great dragon sword souls might had increased. More importantly, he had also obtained the 9 Yin inheritance. Therefore, while he was in seclusion, Lin Xian had been exploring and researching whether he should cultivate the 9 Yin legacy. He had discovered that the 9 Yin inheritance and the 9 Yang divine body were 2 completely different types of cultivation. The 9 Yang divine body required boundless flames, while the 9 Yin inheritance required boundless ice. Lin Xian had also cultivated the law of death and the law of sun, 2 completely opposite laws. However, 2 types of divine bodies were much more terrifying than 2 types of laws. The slightest carelessness might cause one to go berserk. He shook his head and decided not to cultivate for the time being. After all, the 9 Yang divine body was a terrifying physique to begin with. As long as it was cultivated to the great perfection stage, it would be comparable to a great emperor. Lin Xian was still doing his best to improve his 9 Yang divine body. On the other side, Xueqi had completely consolidated her 9 Yin body. The following cultivation would be more complicated and tedious. It was not something that could be completed overnight, so she did not need to be anxious. On one hand, she sent people to search for countless precious pieces of ice. At the same time, she also walked out of the palace and looked at the pagoda in the distance with sparkling eyes. What was this guy doing? Naturally, she was thinking about Lin Xian. Xueqi felt like she was in a dream, and her soul wasn't clear. However, she also knew that the sun she felt in her dream back then was probably Lin Xian. Therefore, she could guess what happened next. She had been unable to complete the 9 Yin inheritance, but Lin Xian had helped her. Moreover, it was Lin Xian who had helped her detoxify the poison that she had been poisoned with. As the granddaughter of a supreme elder and a top genius of the paradise, Xueqi had always wondered what her husband would be like. He would definitely be a peerless expert, a supreme existence that could sweep away everything. She had not even seen any of the paradise's geniuses. In her opinion, only the Misty Peak's geniuses were worthy of her. However, Lin Xian's appearance changed her mind. As soon as Lin Xian appeared, he displayed a powerful array formation. Although his identity was that of a battle servant, his attainments and formations were something that even she was greatly astonished by. Later on, in order to help her stop the Sage King, Lin Xian had taken the initiative to stay behind, risking his life so that she could escape. Xueqi was very touched. In the end, he had helped her detoxify the poison and obtain the 9 Yin body. He had completely won her heart. In this life, she had already decided that Lin Xian was her husband. She would never think of a second person. However, she sighed. She also knew that with her status, her father and grandfather would definitely not agree to tell anyone about this matter. Furthermore, Lin Xian would probably attack the Grotto Heaven as well. Given the other party's talent, as long as he was given time, he would be able to mature very quickly. Once he grew, would he start a war with her? She had no idea. On the other side, Elder Yen Mo had also returned. Because the land of Mount Han had been completely frozen, they had not found the place where Yen Jiu had died. In fact, they did not even get any news. Especially when Yen Mo learned that Xueqi had returned safely, his expression became even uglier. Was his son the only one who had died in there? How hateful! In the end, he met 2 people. He found them very suspicious, but he did not dare to say anything, because these 2 people were from the Misty Peak. The 2 geniuses of the Misty Peak left directly, and no one dared to stop them. As for Yen Mo, he returned to the 1,000 mountain paradise with his people. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor came forward to inquire, but he did not find anything. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor was furious. He personally went to Mount Han and killed his way in. In the end, he returned 3 days later. His expression became even colder. The people around him did not dare to say anything. The holy heaven's old ancestor had returned without finding anything. Mount Han was much more terrifying than they had imagined. Shue-chi naturally knew that the holy heaven's old ancestor was powerful, but Mount Han had the 9 inheritance. Although she had obtained the inheritance, the aura that had been left behind was not something that a great saint could resist once it was released. Most likely, no one would be able to enter that place. As expected, the holy heaven's old ancestor's expression was ugly. Yen Emma walked in. Temperature. Father, what should we do? We have no clue at all. The holy heaven's old ancestor's expression was gloomy. When Jior used the soul imprint that I gave him, it was instantly penetrated. I sensed a trace of the light of reincarnation. What? The light of reincarnation? Yen Emo was stunned, and his expression became one of horror. Their heavenly grotto heaven did not deserve the light of reincarnation. Only the Misty Peak had it. Could it be that the Misty Peak's people had done it? Damn it. In the end, we met 2 people from the Misty Peak, but we did not dare to make a move. If we had known, we would have taken them down. Nonsense. Don't you know what kind of existence the Misty Peak is? Don't act rashly. Let your younger brother go and check it out. He should be able to find out something from the Misty Peak. At least, he should be able to find out the identities of the 2 people who had gone to Mount Han. Chapter 4464. The ethereal peak was above their grotto heavens. However, many of their grotto heavens were also in the ethereal peak. For example, there were a few from the holy heaven's old ancestors' line in the ethereal peak. In fact, it wasn't just him. There were also people from Shue-chi's line in the ethereal peak. It was the same for the other grotto heavens. It could be said that the relationship between the grotto heavens and the ethereal peak was very close. There were also people from the holy King Xing Chen's line in the ethereal peak. This was probably something that even Lin Xian didn't know. The ethereal peak. It was surrounded by mountains and empty valleys. The mountains were very steep. There was a mountain at the top of the clouds with a mysterious aura. This was the ethereal peak, a terrifying existence that was above the grotto heavens. In fact, in the hearts of countless grotto heavens, this was the true cultivation paradise. However, the ethereal peak was very strict in recruiting disciples. Most of the grotto heavens were peerless geniuses who entered through the assessment or recommendation. Only a few geniuses from the outside world entered directly. In the night sky, 2 figures flew past in an instant. They flew directly towards the ethereal peak. These 2 figures were riding on a huge gourd. They were as fast as lightning. In the blink of an eye, they shuttled through the void and arrived in front of the ethereal peak. There were clouds in front of them, and an array formation appeared. At the same time, there was a loud shout. "Who are you? How dare you trespass on the ethereal peak?" The voice carried the aura of a holy king. The 2 figures stopped. "It's us." The man took out the ethereal peak's spirit tablet and waved it forward. A ray of light streaked across the token and surged into the array formation. Not long after, the array formation split open, and people walked out from inside. It was young Master Xingqian and Princess Yuehua. "Please." Xingqian nodded, and the 2 of them flew in. "Young Master Xingqian, how was your trip to Mount Han?" A holy king smiled. After hearing this, Xingqian also said that it was not bad. To be honest, this trip was not in vain. The corner of his mouth curled up into a smile. After the 2 of them flew far away, Yuehua asked, "Senior brother, why are you so happy? We didn't seem to have obtained anything special. In my opinion, this Mount Han is just SOSO. It's not as good as the legends say." Stardust's eyes flickered. He was tall and handsome, and his eyes were like the brightest stars in the night sky. He asked, "What do you think of Shue-chi? Are you talking about That ice mountain fairy? I've heard of her. It was said that she was an ice elemental saint and had great attainments in formations. Although she was still a disciple of the grotto heaven and had yet to join the ethereal peak, she was still a disciple of the grotto heaven. However, she was already a half-step Saint King, and with the strength of the Xianbing clan, it was only a matter of time before she joined Misty Peak. Senior brother, are you interested in him? That's right. Stardust's eyes flashed with a bright light. When he returned, he would immediately ask the old ancestor to help him propose a marriage. Yu Hua was stunned. Do you want to propose marriage to Xueqi? To be honest, although she is not bad, there are too many people in our ethereal peak who are more outstanding than her. Junior sister, you don't know, but I like this kind of iceberg. Stardust laughed. All right, you can go back first. I'll go and see the ancestor. Then he turned into a beam of light and disappeared. Yu Hua shook her head slightly. It seemed that another sparrow was about to become a phoenix. Presbytery Pavilion. It was very quiet, and there were countless paths around. This was where the old ancestor of the Presbytery Pavilion was. No one dared to be presumptuous here. At that moment, a figure was flying through the sky. It was Yen Mo. After Yen Mo entered the hall, he said, "Father, I've found them." Those two people were disciples of Misty Peak. The man was called Xingchen, and the woman was called Yu Hua. They were the geniuses of the Star Clan and the Moon Clan. In front of them, the old ancestor of the Presbytery Pavilion opened his eyes. A terrifying chi bloomed in his eyes. Then, did the two of them fight? Yen Mo took in a deep breath. That didn't seem too possible. Even though the both of them were geniuses in ethereal peak, they were nothing compared to Lin Fan. However, they didn't seem to be able to control the light of reincarnation. Who was it? The old ancestor's eyes shone with a terrifying light. Did anyone from Misty Peak go in? He didn't know. He was still investigating. Go, find out who killed Jiu. Even if it was someone from Misty Peak, he had to give me an explanation. Next, there was an undercurrent. However, Lin Xian didn't care about any of this. He was in seclusion, cultivating with all his might. In front of him, the great void divine furnace was surrounded by flames. It was like a fire dragon, flickering continuously. 9 sun divine flame. Lin Xian had obtained many precious spiritual herbs in the Great Snow Mountain. He was refining them now. When this furnace of pills was completed, he could try to break through and reach late stage, Holy Venerate. At that time, his strength would become even more terrifying. Finally, half a month later, a furnace of pills was completed. Looking at the pills, Lin Xian's lips curled up into a smile. Every pill was crystal clear, and there were great daos flickering on them. Lin Xian waved his hand and started consuming the pills. Boom! Not long after, lightning filled the sky. It was like the end of the world. It attracted the attention of the 1,000 Mountain Cave again. Could it be that Xueqi is going to break through again? Countless people became nervous. Xueqi's father also arrived, and his eyes flickered. However, they did not know that this was Lin Xian breaking through. Lightning tribulations filled the sky, and no one dared to approach this place. This time, the lightning tribulation lasted for a very long time. Lightning flashed, and thunder roared in the sky. Countless martial emperors were hacked apart. This scene was horrifying, as if 10,000 dragons were roaring together. A figure covered in flames appeared in the sea of lightning. Countless lightning bolts flickered on his body. Some of them were even as big as a mountain. This was Lin Xian. He brought out his powerful divine body. Countless sword chi turned into divine chains and fought with the lightning in the sky. Finally, Shao Chun blocked the lightning tribulation. Then, he sat down cross-legged on the charred ground and started the final tempering. His aura suddenly erupted, and he reached late stage Holy Venerate. His strength had undergone an earth-shaking change compared to before. This is great. Lin Xian's lips curled up in a smile. The people outside were also looking forward to it. Is it over? I wonder if Princess Xueqi successfully broke through and became a sage king. They all wanted to go there. At this moment, the lightning that had disappeared gathered again. Then, an even more terrifying power descended. Even Lin Xian abruptly opened his eyes. He looked at the large hall before him and revealed a look of surprise. A sage king tribulation. Is she going to break through? Lin Xian cried out in surprise. The palace in front of him was where Xueqi was. It seemed like Xueqi was really going to break through to the Sage King realm. Xueqi's father and the other Sage Kings outside wanted to come in and check the situation. However, when they sensed the Sage King tribulation, they were all surprised. Is she going to break through now? Chapter 44:65. Retreat quickly. These people retreated one after another. Even those who were in the mansion quickly retreated. Lin Xian's body flickered, and he arrived in the distant void. His eyes flickered as he observed the situation. A bolt of lightning descended in front of him, and it penetrated the heavens and the earth. The palace beneath it was torn apart, and it was turned into ashes. A person was sitting cross-legged in the void, and there was black ice revolving around her body. Soon after, Xueqi opened her eyes, and her black hair fluttered in the wind. The black ice around her body swept out in all directions. The lightning that approached her was instantly sealed by ice. Boom, boom, boom. Xueqi used her 9 body, and ice filled the sky as she fought against the terrifying Saint Tribulation. This battle shook the heavens and the earth, and in the end, Xueqi successfully crossed the Saint Tribulation. She looked up at the sky and let out a long cry, and the clouds in the 9 heavens and 10 lands collapsed. The aura of a Saint King emanated from her body. Boom. It's great. She successfully made a breakthrough. A smile appeared at the corners of Xueqi's mouth. Her injuries, which were caused by the lightning tribulation, quickly healed. Chi-er, how are you? After the lightning disappeared, a voice transmitted from afar. At the same time, countless auras in the sky started spreading toward them. And there was even an aura of a great saint among them. It was the Supreme Elder. Many people cried out in alarm. Greetings, Elder Black Ice. They looked at the blue-robed old man and bowed to him. The blue-robed old man's robe fluttered even though there was no wind, and his eyes were like blue lightning that could see through everything. He stared at Xueqi, then clapped his hands and laughed heartily. She made a breakthrough. Great, great, great. He was overjoyed as his granddaughter had finally taken a crucial step. Is this true? She actually made a breakthrough. It's great. Xueqi's father was also overjoyed, and he clenched his fists. The others also congratulated Black Ice Ancestor one after another. Black Ice Ancestor, congratulations. Princess Xueqi's talent was too great. She was the first person among the younger generation to become a Saint King. Her future achievements were limitless, and she would surely become a great saint. Many praises could be heard, and Black Ice Ancestor laughed heartily. Xueqi's breakthrough was a great matter for the Thousand Mountain Paradise, and they invited everyone to a banquet. Soon, these people began to move. On the other side, Yanemo walked over and gnashed his teeth. Father, Xueqi has already broken through to the Saint King realm. Damn it! The others were all very happy, but their expressions were incomparably ugly, because his son, Yanjiu, had already fallen. In all honesty, he hoped that Xueqi would die. However, things didn't go as he wished. Not only did Xueqi not die, but she had also become even more powerful. She had even broken through to become a Saint King. Moreover, he wants to invite the world to a banquet. I think he wants to show off to the world." The more she spoke, the angrier she became. Said the ancestor of the holy heavens. She had just become a saint king, so she didn't pose any threat to him. "As long as the black ice old monster does not break through, we will still be evenly matched." Yen Mo nodded. He naturally knew. The younger generation represented the hope of the future. However, more importantly, although they were both from the Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven, the forces they represented were different. The Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven had a total of 3 great sages. One of them fell into a deep slumber. The only ones who were active were his father, the Holy Heaven Grand Sage, and the Black Ice Grand Sage. The 2 of them represented 2 different forces, so they were naturally competing with each other. Previously, Jiu had pursued Xueqi. If he had succeeded, then they might have been able to work together. However, there was no such possibility now. Xueqi received countless congratulatory messages, but she ignored them all with an indifferent expression. Many of the younger generation's geniuses had come. Many of them were handsome, and some of them were carefree. However, Xueqi didn't care about them at all. She looked around, as if she was looking for someone. When she saw Lin Xian walk out of the clouds, a smile appeared on her face. Her smile was so beautiful that it could cause the downfall of a nation. Everyone was stunned when they saw it. When the others saw it, they all stared at Lin Xian and gnashed their teeth. Xueqi had indeed said, "Elders, fellow disciples, I just broke through, and I want to consolidate it." "All right, Xueqi, you should rest first. When the banquet starts, we will congratulate you properly." The elders all left with their juniors. Xueqi gathered her subordinates and said, "Build a new mansion for me. I will go to another place to live temporarily." She left with Lin Xian. The news that Xueqi had successfully broken through and become a saint king spread out from the Thousand Mountain Paradise. When the other paradises and ancient clans people learned about it, they were all shocked. They all received invitations and they all set out. The Misty Peaks people also learned about it, and they also sent out a team to go there. Soon, the day of the banquet arrived. The Thousand Mountain Paradise became very lively, and the young disciples all had smiles on their faces. Xueqi was the star of this banquet, and what they needed to do was to attract her attention. They had already heard from their elders that Jiu had died. Since that was the case, they could go and chase after Xueqi. In the past, because of Jiu's existence, many people wanted to get Xueqi's attention. However, they didn't dare to. But now he didn't have to worry about that anymore. If he could get married to Xueqi, he wouldn't have to worry about that anymore. If they could marry Xueqi, their families and their own families would all soar. They had arrived at the Green Hill Paradise. A loud voice came from outside, and a team was invited in. It was the Green Hill Paradise's people. Countless people turned their heads to look, and they all cried out in surprise. The Green Hill Paradise's people were all handsome, and they were like fairies. Many people cried out in surprise. Many people's eyes turned red. They couldn't get Princess Xueqi, but if they could marry a fairy from the Green Hill Paradise, it would be good too. Next, the Howren Paradise, White Cloud Paradise, and Flying Feather Paradise's people all arrived. The last to arrive was the Purple Spirit Paradise's people. Many people were surprised that young Masterling Tian had come as well. Many people whispered, "Didn't this guy say that he was severely injured and poisoned? How did he recover?" His grandfather was a supreme elder, a great saint. He must have personally helped him to expel the poison and heal his injuries. The Purple Spirit Paradise's people had a cold expression, and their eyes were cold. To be honest, he was very angry. He was beaten up by a mysterious person for no reason, and he was severely injured. He was even poisoned. Indeed, it was the great saint who saved him. However, this also caused his cultivation and strength to fall. After all, his foundation was injured, and his soul was injured. Now he had fallen to the peak of the Saint Venerable realm, and he was no longer a half-step Saint King. This made him gnash his teeth, especially when he heard that Xueqi had successfully broken through to become a Saint King. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Chapter 4466. He was supposed to be the first to break through, but now the glory had fallen to someone else. But fortunately, it was Xueqi. If he could marry Xueqi, everything would be perfect. Apart from the people from the 5 grotto heavens, there were also dozens of ancient race and other experts. It could be said that the 1,000 Mountain Grotto was extremely lively. The elders and geniuses of the 1,000 Mountain Grotto were also coming in and out to receive the guests. At this moment, a voice came from the foot of the mountain, welcoming the ethereal peak. As soon as the voice came out, the people in the grotto fell silent. Countless people turned their heads to look. Even the ethereal peak was here. This was unbelievable. The 1,000 Mountain Grotto was actually so influential. The elders and experts of the other grotto heavens were also shocked. The people of the 1,000 Mountain Grotto smiled. Great. They did not expect the people of the ethereal peak to come. Some of the core elders also started to move and went to welcome them. The ethereal peak was in existence above them. No one dared to be careless. The people of the other grotto heavens were also extremely respectful and pious. From afar, a white jade bridge appeared connecting the heavens and the earth. Countless dais were intertwined on it. There were a few figures on the bridge. The one in front was a middle-aged man. He was tall and wore armor that shone with cold light. His aura was extremely shocking. It was him, Dugaju. Many elders of the grotto heavens narrowed their eyes. They did not expect such a person to come here. Some of the young people did not know who this person was. They only knew that his aura was extremely terrifying. They asked Elder, "Is this person powerful?" The elder said, "How dare you be so rude to Elder Dugu?" Saint King Dugu was a late-stage Saint King. He was also an elder of the ethereal peak and had an extraordinary status. He was not someone you could talk about. Did you hear that? The disciples were so scared that their scalps went numb. How terrifying was the elder of the ethereal peak. At the same time, they were even more confused. Why would such a person come for the 1,000 Mountain Grotto? Could it be that something big was going to happen? Even the elders of the 1,000 Mountain Grotto were stunned. They originally thought that they would send some young disciples, but now such a powerful elder had come personally. For a moment, they were all stunned. The expression of Xueqi's father, Elder Xianhai, changed drastically. Since such an important person had come, he must inform the Supreme Elder as soon as possible. He secretly transmitted his voice. However, as soon as he moved, 2 powerful auras surged over from afar. "Greetings, Patriarch." The people of 1,000 Mountain Grotto Heaven kept worshipping. The people from the other grotto heavens also bowed and greeted the 2 great sages. Countless people looked up at him. Was this the great sage? It was really too terrifying. It was the Holy Heaven's ancestor and the Black Ice ancestor. The 2 of them looked ahead when they arrived. They landed on a cloud and smiled. They didn't expect fellow Taoist Dugu of Ethereal Peak to come personally. How disrespectful. The 2 seniors are too polite. Dugaju said indifferently as he cupped his fists, "Fellow Taoist Dugu, please." The 2 grand elders will personally lead the way. The surrounding people were all stunned. Although Du Gujue was powerful, he was only a late-stage Saint King. Yet, the 2 great sages were treating him with such respect. In fact, they were treating him as equals. It was truly unbelievable. However, this also showed how extraordinary Ethereal Peak was. It was probably completely above the grotto heavens. 2 seniors, please. Dugaju didn't dare to be careless. After all, they were 2 living fossils, 2 great sages. The three of them walked forward together. The surrounding people stepped back and made a path for them. There were also a few figures following behind Dugaju. Xingchen and Yuehua were among them. The group was invited to the most honorable place and sat down. After that, the two utmost exalted elders also sat down. Everyone was seated. The others also sat down. At this moment, a red-crowned crane was flying in the distance, with two figures standing on top of it. It was Fairy Xueqi. She was here. With a cry of surprise, countless people raised their heads and looked into the distance. The eyes of the young disciples instantly lit up. She was so beautiful. She was like a fairy from the ninth heaven. Xueqi had dressed up meticulously today. Her exquisite snow robe made her look even more noble. She looked like an ice queen. As soon as she appeared, she attracted countless gazes and countless exclamations. The crane flew and circled in the air. Then it landed. Xueqi walked down. Lin Xian also landed behind her. Lin Xian looked around curiously. The people who came this time were more powerful than the people who had gathered at Mount Han. He also found that the 6 grotto heavens were all here, especially when he sensed the 2 aged figures sitting at the very front. His pupils abruptly shrunk, the aura of a great sage. They were real great sages. He took a deep breath. As expected of a grotto heaven, it was much more powerful than the holy city. There were even great sages here, and there was more than one. Who was this person? When he saw Dugaju, he was also stunned. Dugaju was only a late-stage Saint Venerable. However, he could sit on the same level as a great sage. This surprised him. However, when he saw Xingchen and Yuehua sitting beside Dugaju, he immediately understood what was going on. He had seen these 2 people before. They were from Misty Peak. He guessed that the middle-aged man sitting at the front was also an expert from Misty Peak. It seemed like Misty Peak's status was really important. Xingchen's eyes shone brightly as he stared at Xueqi. A smile appeared at the corners of his mouth, as expected of the person he had taken a fancy to. She was even more beautiful than he had imagined. However, when he saw Lin Xian, he furrowed his brows. Once he married Xueqi, this battle servant wouldn't need to exist anymore. Many people's gazes also fell on Lin Xian. There were even some geniuses who were envious of him. They wished they could turn into battle servants and stay by Xueqi's side. Let me introduce you. This is Elder Dugu of Misty Peak. He came here especially for this meeting. You should thank him properly. Xianhai stood up and looked at his daughter with a smile. Xueqi was also surprised. Did Elder Dugu of Misty Peak come here personally? Did he come here to take a disciple? Junior Xueqi greets Elder Dugu. You are too polite. My niece, Xueqi, has great talent. It is only a matter of time before she joins Misty Peak. Xueqi also smiled as she thanked Elder Dugu for his praise. She had always wanted to join Misty Peak. The other people also went into an uproar. They all guessed that Dugaju had come here to take a disciple. These people were the outstanding geniuses of Misty Peak. Xian high-pointed at Xingchen and the others. Chapter 4467. Xueqi also bowed slightly to greet everyone. Sister Xueqi, you are too courteous. We will be on the same side in the future, Yuehua said with a smile. After that, Xueqi met the elders of the other heavens and the experts of the ancient race. She sat down. The banquet started, and it was very lively. Many people came to congratulate Xueqi. Just the gifts that Lin Xian had received for her had already piled up into a mountain. During the banquet, there were also some fights. After all, everyone was an expert, and they liked watching fights. Some geniuses of the heavens and ancient race started fighting. The battle stopped there, but it was still very exciting and intense. All kinds of great chaos appeared between heaven and earth. Interesting. Even I want to fight. I wonder who wants to exchange a few moves with me. At this moment, a figure stood up from the Misty Peak's side. It was a short-haired man. He wore blue armor and carried a saber on his back. His cultivation was only at the half-step Holy King realm, but he was able to join the Misty Peak. There was only one explanation. He was a descendant of one of the elders of the Misty Peak. Mo Fan walked out and looked at the people of the other heavens, an ancient race. What's wrong? Does no one dare to fight? The banquet fell silent for a moment. Mo Fan sneered coldly. Didn't you all think that you were geniuses? Why don't you even have the courage to fight me? You are really disappointing. You want to join the Misty Peak? I'm afraid you don't have the chance. What an arrogant person. When the people of the 6 great heavens heard this, they frowned. Some of them had ugly expressions. It's not that we don't want to fight, but if we injure you, we will end up in a miserable state. These words were exactly what everyone was thinking. It wasn't that they couldn't defeat him, but that he was from the Misty Peak, and no one dared to fight him. When Mo Fan heard this, he smiled. So, this is what you are worried about. I can tell you that you don't need to worry. Who can defeat me, or even injure me? I will reward you handsomely. Even if I am injured, I won't blame you. Everyone can hear what I am saying. Do you still have anything to worry about? Since that's the case, I will challenge you. A figure stood up. It was Meng Hao of the Haren Heavens. After Meng Hao walked out, he said, "Excuse me." Unparalleled laws of nature burst out from his body. His palm formed a seal of nature and pushed forward. This was the ultimate technique of the vast grotto heaven. This Meng Hao was also a top genius, and his attacks were truly terrifying. Most likely, there was no one below Saint King who could do anything to him, right? Mo Fan let out a hollow laugh. The Haren Wonderland. Huh? He pulled out the saber on his back. Purple flames rose from the saber as it slashed down with an unparalleled aura. Purple flame devil saber. The saber slashed down and collided with the Haren seal. Both of them let out an earth-shaking sound. This slash actually sent Meng Hao flying backward. This guy is so strong. He is indeed from the ethereal peak. The crowd realized that although Mo Fan was arrogant, his strength was not weak at all. Mo Fan let out a hollow laugh after he succeeded and charged forward once again. The long saber in his hand continued to fall like lightning, enveloping the world. Meng Hao kept retreating, but he was not nervous at all. Suddenly, countless Haren seals appeared behind him. There were a total of 12 of them, and they covered the sky and covered the earth, directly enveloping his opponent. This was a kind of ultimate technique. It turned out that he was not really defeated before. He was just retreating in order to advance, looking for an opening. Finally, he found an opportunity. Boom, boom, boom. Under the mighty attack, Mo Fan was hit and was sent flying. His face was pale, and blood was flowing out from the corner of his mouth. There were even a few cracks on his body. He was injured. Countless people were shocked. Meng Hao walked forward. "You have lost this battle." Mo Fan's eyes instantly turned red. "Damn it, you dare to hurt me? Go to hell." He roared angrily, and the long saber in his hand instantly burst out with an unparalleled light. A roar burst out from his saber, and then it turned into a phantom and slashed forward. Boom. The power of this slash surpassed everything before. It even carried the aura of a Saint King. Not good. This was the weapon of a Saint King, and it was sealed before. Countless cries of surprise rang out, and Meng Hao's pupils constricted. He once again used the Haren seal to block the attack. However, he was still a step too late. In an instant, he was sent flying, and a crack appeared on his body. One of his arms was directly cut off. Meng Hao was injured. The people of the Haren Grotto were nervous. The others also exclaimed, "The battle should be over." They did not expect Mo Fan to use the weapon of a Saint King. It was an unfair victory. Everyone sighed. To be honest, with Meng Hao's status, he could naturally take out a Saint King weapon. However, since it was a spar, they would not rely on external forces. However, to everyone's surprise, Mo Fan did not stop. His eyes were red. "Since you dare to hurt me, go to hell." The saber in his hand slashed down again. Damn it, is this guy crazy? Does he want to kill me? This was not the end of the battle. He had said so nicely before that he did not care about being injured or losing, but now his opponent had hurt him a little. He actually wanted to kill his opponent. Meng Hao's face was also cold. To be honest, he was also angry. Did he think he did not have a Saint King weapon? His severed arm healed, and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. He was about to attack. However, at that moment, the elder of the Howren Grotto stood up. Very well, Meng Hao had lost this battle. Elder! Meng Hao was not convinced. However, the elder of the Howren Grotto did say, "Meng Hao, you are injured. You have lost this battle." "Yes, I understand." Meng Hao walked back unwillingly. Mo Fan harumphed coldly. "Fortunately, you were not injured. Otherwise, you would be a dead man by now. Who else wants to stand with me?" The surrounding people did not say anything. This guy was simply a madman. He could not afford to be taken advantage of. Furthermore, his status was frighteningly high. No one dared to act rashly. Who would want to fight with such a person? What a bunch of trash. Mo Fan laughed coldly. In front of him, Stardust frowned slightly. Mo Fan, come back. To be honest, he also felt that Mo Fan was a bit embarrassing. Fine, I'll spare them this time. Mo Fan walked back. For a moment, the atmosphere was a bit awkward. Dugaju said with a smile, "Today we came here not only to congratulate Xueqi, but also for another matter." "Oh, another matter? What is it?" The two great elders were confused. The others were also surprised. Dugaju said with a smile, "Xueqi's children should be of marriageable age." Dugaju wondered if she had a good husband. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. What did he mean? Even Xueqi furrowed her brows. Chapter 4468. Dugaju continued with a smile. "This is Xingqian, a genius of the ethereal peak. He has reached the Saint King realm. Senior Black Ice, what do you think?" Black Ice Ancestor was also taken aback. What did Taoist Duga mean? Dugaju said, "This time, I'm here to propose marriage." Propose marriage? Everyone was stunned when they heard this. Those from the 1,000 Mountain Cave were stunned. Those from the other caves were also dumbfounded. It seemed like they were here to propose marriage for Xingqian. Oh my God! Despair filled their eyes. Yen, Jiu's matter, had given them hope. After all, they could pursue Xueqi. But now, the ethereal peak had proposed marriage. Who would dare to oppose it? Sure enough, those young geniuses were disappointed. Even the elders from the 1,000 Mountain Cave were stunned. Elder Xianbing was also stunned. She didn't expect that the other party was here to propose marriage. Xingqian is a genius of the Star Clan of the Ethereal Peak. If the marriage alliance is successful this time, then both of us can work together. Countless people were stunned. The eyes of those from the other caves turned red. If they could work together with the Ethereal Peak, it would be a great benefit for the caves. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor's face turned cold. Yenmo's face also turned ugly. This way, the 1,000 Mountain Cave would benefit. But the biggest beneficiary would be the Black Ice lineage. Xingqian would probably soar to the sky in the future. If that happened, the 1,000 Mountain Cave lineage would be at a disadvantage. So, they were very anxious. This Black Ice ancestor was also stunned for a moment. To be honest, she did not know how to respond. But at this moment, Xueqi stood up and said, "I'm not willing." What? Everyone was shocked. Xueqi was not willing. Don't be rude. Xianhai said with a frown. How could she refuse such an important event? But, Father, Xueqi still wanted to say something. Xianhai waved his hand and said, I said, don't be rude. Sit down first. The Supreme Elder will make the decision. Although Xueqi refused, Dugaju did not care. He looked at Black Ice Ancestor. He knew that the most important thing was to deal with Black Ice Ancestor. He waved his hand and looked at the stars. Chen-er, what are you waiting for? Xingchen stood up and said with a smile, Senior Xianbing, if Xueqi and I can be together, I will definitely treat her well for the rest of my life. These were some greeting gifts. I hope that Senior and Xueqi won't dislike it. As he spoke, he waved his hand and 3 treasure boxes appeared in the sky. Was this a betrothal gift? Countless people cried out in surprise as they looked up at the sky. Xing Chun waved his hand, and the first treasure box opened. Immediately, 9-colored light flew out and circled the world. A terrifying aura of the great path surged. The surrounding people were all stunned. Just the aura alone was so terrifying. How heaven-defying was this treasure? Then, a fist-sized jade flew out. The jade was sparkling and translucent. It was exceptionally dreamy, as if it was the most precious treasure in the world. However, what was surprising was not this piece of jade, but what was sealed in the jade. It was a stalk of spirit medicine, and it could be seen that it was very old. Xingchen said proudly with his hands behind his back. This was a 30,000-year-old herb. The surrounding people were all in an uproar. 30,000-year-old. Heavens! Isn't this a little too long ago? This was definitely enough to make anyone's eyes turn red. Sure enough, even the 2 Grand Elders' eyes shone with a biting, cold light. This was extremely useful to them. Not only could it increase their cultivation, but it could also increase their lifespan. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor's eyes turned red. Why didn't his junior have a peerless fairy like Xueqi? Damn it, this Black Ice Old Ancestor is going to benefit. Black Ice Old Ancestor was also very happy. However, as a great saint, he was very experienced and knowledgeable. Thus, he was extremely calm at this moment and did not say anything. When Xing Chen saw this, he waved his hand again. Immediately, the second treasure box opened. Boundless light flew out from it. It was also a piece of divine crystal, and there was a celestial pot sealed in it. The crowd was puzzled. Could it be a top-grade saint artifact? Xing Chen said that there was half a bottle of spirit wine in the celestial pot. It should be the legendary Linglong Saint wine. The surrounding people went crazy. The Linglong Saint wine was a legendary existence. With just a sip, one could almost ascend to the immortal realm. It could definitely increase one's cultivation by a few hundred years. It could directly create a peerless expert, as expected of the Misty Peak. It was really too amazing. The things that they took out shocked everyone. At the same time, everyone knew that it seemed like this marriage proposal was going to be successful. Presumably, the 1,000 Mountain Grotto would definitely not reject it. What was inside the third treasure box? At this moment, countless people were looking forward to it. Xing Chun waved his hand and opened the third treasure box. Moonlight appeared inside. Then, a crescent moon flew out. It was the moon. Everyone was stunned. However, some of the older generation experts shook their heads. No, it looked like the moon. It was a piece of metal. Some of you should have guessed it. It was called the metal of the hidden moon. It was a material used to create great saint artifacts. I don't think I need to explain how precious it was. The surrounding people's eyes almost popped out. The metal of the hidden moon was crystal clear. It was flowing with radiance, like a divine moon. It was a peerless metal. Indeed, the eyes of the 2 great saints turned red. Although they were great saints and had great saint artifacts in their hands, those great saint artifacts had been passed down in the heavenly grotto since ancient times. They were not created by them. It was too difficult for a great saint to create his own great saint artifact. The reason was that the materials needed were extremely precious. Many people might not be able to find all of them in their lifetime. Therefore, the great saints used divine artifacts that had been passed down. Now, such a piece of metal had appeared, and it made the eyes of the two great saints turn red. If they could get it and create their own great saint artifacts, they would be satisfied for the rest of their lives. Each of the three treasures would be astonishing if taken out. Now that they had appeared together, no one would be able to reject them. The corners of Black Ice Ancestor's mouth curled up as she looked at Xueqi. Xueqi's heart thumped. She stood up and said once again, "I'm not willing." The surrounding people went crazy. She was still not willing? What was Xueqi thinking? Some female disciples of the other heavenly grottos snorted coldly. Why was she so arrogant? Did she really think of herself as a peerless fairy? Xing Chun was so handsome, and he was also a martial artist of the Misty Peak. His status was above all heavenly grottos. If they were in Xueqi's place, they would have agreed long ago. Moreover, she had taken out 3 treasures, which showed her sincerity. Those female martial artists were so angry that they wished they could rush over and agree immediately. However, Xueqi had refused them twice, which made them go crazy with anger. Why was the disparity between people so big? Chapter 4469. The smile on Xing Chen's face disappeared, and his expression became unsightly. She had already rejected him twice. Didn't he want to lose face? Even Dugu Ju furrowed his brows slightly. His expression became gloomy, but he didn't say anything. Xian Hai said hurriedly, "Elder Dugu, please calm down. My daughter is still young, and she is used to being spoiled. Elder Dugu, please don't take offense. I have already made up my mind." Xueqi stood out once again. At this moment, countless gazes fell on her. Xueqi looked around and said in a clear voice, "Elder Dugu, thank you for your love." However, Xueqi already has someone in her heart. After she spoke, she glanced at Lin Xian. Everyone was taken aback. Xueqi already has someone in her heart. Damn it! Who is it? I will fight him to the death. Even Xing Chen's expression became unsightly. He had proposed a marriage in front of everyone, but Xueqi didn't agree. She even said that she already had someone in her heart. This was a slap to his face. Don't be rude." Xian Hai shouted angrily. Even Black Ice Ancestor's expression changed. This was supposed to be a joyous occasion, but if it wasn't handled properly, it might turn into a disaster. Offending the Misty Peak would lead to a miserable end. The Holy Heaven's Ancestor and the others sneered inwardly. This scene was beyond their expectations. However, they were still very happy. Qi is too young, and we will give you an explanation for this matter. Black Ice Ancestor also spoke. Now, the situation had become very awkward, and they had to stop it quickly. Otherwise, the Misty Peak would become even angrier. Qi had just broken through recently, and she might be too tired. This was why she wasn't in a good mood. "Guards, take Qi away to rest." Xian Hai waved his hand, and many guards walked out. It seemed like they wanted to take Xueqi away by force. Xueqi said, "Who dares to do this?" She took a step forward, but the guards continued to walk towards her. When Lin Xian saw this scene, he sighed. He knew that Xueqi didn't agree because of him. After all, Xueqi was already his woman. Now, Xueqi was going against the 1,000-mountain wonderland and the Misty Peak for him. How could he just sit by and watch? Lin Xian walked out as well. With a stomp of his foot, endless nomological laws condensed under his feet and enveloped the guards. Countless laws formed divine chains, sealing them in the sky. Audacious, do you dare to make a move? Xian Hai roared. Lin Xian wasn't afraid at all. He laughed. For the sake of a few treasures, he was willing to push his own daughter into the fire pit. As a father, He wasn't much. What did you say? Xian Hai was completely enraged. A mere battle servant dared to clamor with him? Kneel, he roared. However, Lin Xian stood there without moving. He said coldly, "What? Am I wrong? You are Xueqi's elders, yet you don't care about Xueqi at all. All you think about is the treasure and the relationship with the Misty Peak. Have you ever cared about Xueqi's feelings? Xueqi is still young, and she doesn't understand anything. We are doing this for her own good." Xian Hai said coldly. Lin Xian laughed out loud. "Young? Don't understand? I see that you've lived for thousands of years, but you don't understand either. How presumptuous! Who gave you the guts to speak here?" Xian Hai went crazy. The people in the surroundings went into an uproar. Who is this guy? Is he some genius? What a joke. Can't he see that he's just a battle servant? What? A battle servant dares to speak to an elder in such a manner? He'll probably suffer a fate worse than death. Xueqi turned around and looked at Lin Xian. She revealed a smile. She knew that she had made the right choice. In the next instant, she said, "Father, grandfather, if you insist on marrying Xueqi, it's fine. But I have a condition." "What condition? Speak." Xian Hai was delighted. As long as Xueqi agreed, they would fulfill any condition. Xueqi said, "My husband will surely be a peerless hero. Weaklings don't have such qualifications. You can set your mind at ease. Xingqian is also a Saint King, and he reached the Saint King realm 3 years ago. This showed that Xingqian's power was extremely great. However, Xueqi said, even among Saint Kings, there are strong and weak ones. My condition is that you must defeat me in order to become my husband. Moreover, since you think that I'm not young anymore, it's time for me to get married. All right, let's have a competition to find a spouse. I'll invite all the geniuses in the world to sign up. If anyone can defeat me, I'll marry him." Everyone went into an uproar when they heard this. A competition to find a spouse? Oh my God! Didn't this mean that they also had a chance? Some people were shocked. Dugaju furrowed his brows and looked at Xingqian. Xingqian's face was gloomy, but a smile quickly appeared at the corners of his mouth. A competition to find a spouse? Interesting. Fine, I'll agree. Xueqi, I'll defeat you personally to prove my power. I'm the most suitable person to be your husband. Xian Hai heaved a sigh of relief. Since even Xingqian had agreed, they didn't need to say anything. However, after this matter, they still had to apologize properly. Even Black Ice Ancestor sighed. It seemed like she had to make a trip to the Misty Peak. After all, they had really embarrassed the Misty Peak today. 10 days from now, I'll accept your challenge. I'll only give you 10 days to prepare. After Xueqi finished speaking, she turned around and left. Countless people went into an uproar. They knew that a good show was about to begin. Moreover, the news had already spread. All the experts in the region rushed over. They also wanted to participate. The Thousand Mountain Cave was also busy. They were preparing to set up the ancient arena. They also had to entertain more people. On the other side, Black Ice Ancestor personally invited Dugaju and the others to a quiet palace, where she received them personally. Xingqian was a little unhappy before, but now a smile appeared on his face. He wanted to conquer her personally. On the other side, after Xueqi went back, she looked at Lin Xian. She said, 10 days from now, you'll participate, right? Since they had come back from Mount Han, the two of them had been cultivating in seclusion. They even tried to avoid what had happened. This made Xueqi very sad. Lin Xian looked at her and said, "Of course, you're already my woman. Your husband can only be me. I've already thought it through. The Thousand Mountain Cave is the Thousand Mountain Cave, and you are you. Moreover, I don't want to kill the entire Thousand Mountain Cave. I only want to kill a part of it." "That's right. Lin Xian wanted to kill those who had participated in sealing them. He also wanted to kill the members of the world of men. After Xueqi heard this, she revealed a beautiful smile. Great! She had seen Lin Xian's power. This was why she had thought of the martial arts competition to find a spouse. As long as Lin Xian displayed his great power in front of everyone 10 days from now, it wouldn't matter even if he was just a battle servant. When this news spread out, the whole world went into an uproar. More experts rushed over. Among them, there were even some saints. Chapter 4470. After all, Xueqi was already a true saint king. If they wanted to defeat her, they had to be a saint. Of course, there were also some people who wanted to join in the fun. After all, they were the center of attention at this time. If they could shine in the battle, even if they lost in the end, they would still be famous in the world. They all came to the 1,000 Mountain Cave with different goals in mind. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, everyone was excited. The 1,000 Mountain Cave even took out many arenas for the upcoming battles. The two Grand Elders and the Duga Shenwang had all arrived. They sat high up in the clouds and looked down. The experts of the other heavenly caves and the ancient race all gathered around them. Xing Chun was wearing a battle armor today, and his eyes were emitting a cold aura. Today, he was going to sweep across the 8 barren lands and defeat Xueqi personally. Then he would carry out the marriage alliance. The experts and experts of the other heavenly caves were also excited. At this time, Mo Fan walked out again and said loudly, "If you want to challenge Xueqi, you have to go through me first. If you can't even defeat me, you don't have the right to challenge a saint." He was right. Other than Mo Fan, 3 more people arrived. They were all from the Misty Peak. These 3 people were all half-step saint kings. They stood in 3 arenas and were going to be eliminated. It's so lively. It seems like I'm not too late. A loud laugh came from the sky. Then a sword light flashed and formed a figure. Another expert came to challenge them. Everyone felt the pressure. No, this was not an ordinary saint king. This was a late-stage saint king. This was a terrifying expert. Countless people exclaimed. They looked up at the sky, and so did the people of the 1,000 Mountain Cave. The 2 supreme elders and Dugaju were stunned. Their pupils shrank. It's him. The 3 of them stood up at the same time. Taoist Wuk, what a rare guest. I didn't expect you to come. Black Ice Ancestor was very surprised. His face was full of excitement. This was too much. This was the martial arts competition of his granddaughter. Now, not only Dugaju, but also Wuk Wuk had come. This made him feel proud. On the other side, the Holy Heavens Ancestor was also surprised. He did not dare to be negligent. "Long time no see, tour guide Wuk," Dugaju said. The 3 of them invited the peerless swordsman down from the sky. The surrounding people were shocked. Who was this person? He was so terrifying. His identity was also extraordinary. Could it be that he was also from the Ethereal Peak? The Misty Peak actually sent 2 elders? It was too unbelievable. However, there were also some who shook their heads. No, these people from Ethereal Peak looked confused. Clearly, they did not know this peerless swordsman. This person was not from Ethereal Peak. Who was that? In this place, other than the Misty Peak, who else could make the Grotto Heavens treat them with such respect, or even be on equal footing with the Misty Peak? Everyone was puzzled. "I wonder where Xueqi is?" Jian Wuk asked with a smile after he came down. "Xueqi, we're almost there." Not long after, the red-crowned crane flew over from afar. Xueqi and Lin Xian descended gracefully like celestial beings. "Here comes." Countless people's eyes lit up. Jian Wuk said with a smile, "She is indeed a peerless genius. It seems like Xueqi's future is limitless. Elder Wuk, It won't be long before my daughter marries Xingqian of the Misty Peak. At that time, I hope Elder Wuck can come." "Oh," Jian Wuck was surprised. At this moment, Yan Mo said coldly, "Elder Xianhai, it's too early for you to be happy. What will be the final result of this competition? No one can say for sure." "Why? Do you think that young Master Xingqian won't be able to obtain the final victory?" Xianhai glanced at Yan Mo and revealed a meaningful smile. Yan Mo's son had been pursuing his daughter. Now that Yan Jiu was dead, he must be furious. However, even if Yan Jiu was alive, how could he be compared to Xingqian? Yan Mo looked at Dugaju with respect, and then looked at Xianhai. He said with a smile, "I didn't say that young Master Xingqian would lose. It's just that I think everyone knows Xueqi's temper. At that time, I hope Xueqi will keep her word." Xianhai's face darkened. "I know my daughter. She won't go back on her word. All right, stop fighting. Just watch the competition patiently," Elder Xianbing also said in a deep voice. Soon, everyone's gazes shifted downwards. The people below had already started. Mo Fan and the other 3 experts of the Misty Peak were in charge of the elimination. The battles were very fast. The 3 of them were very strong. Even if they were fighting against experts of the same level, they would finish the battle within 3 moves. Damn it! How could it be so coincidental? Everyone was in despair. Some of the people who wanted to participate hesitated. They were all half-step Saint Kings. Why was the gap between them so huge? Could this be the Misty Peak? The super skills and ultimate techniques used by the other party far surpassed theirs. "Look, it's Han Chong. He's back." They heard that he had gone to another world to train. They didn't expect him to finally return. This time, his strength would be even more terrifying. Discussions broke out one after another. Lin Xian turned his head and looked over with a look of surprise on his face. He had met Han Chong in the true spirit world before. He was already a saint, a top existence. Now that he had returned, his strength had increased again. He had reached the half-step Saint King realm. Furthermore, Lin Xian knew that these people were all experts who had experienced hundreds of battles. After going through the trials of other worlds, they were much stronger than ordinary half-step Saint Kings. Han Chong walked up, bringing with him endless ice. Countless people were discussing. This guy was like Fairy Xueqi, an expert of the ice element. They didn't know if he could fight against the people of the Misty Peak. "Oh, an interesting guy is coming up?" Mo Fan looked at the other party with surprise. Then he said, "Interesting. I'll give you a chance to attack first. Sorry." Han Chong cupped his fists and said. Then the laws on his body erupted like an iceberg. The cold aura caused frost to appear on the surrounding people. Buzz. A ray of ice light covered the sky and flew forward. Too weak, Mo Fan sneered and slashed forward. The ice shattered. A large ice bow appeared in Han Chong's hand. As he drew it back, countless ice arrows covered the sky as they flew forward. In an instant, the sky and earth were completely frozen. Boom, boom. A lot of ice appeared on it. Mo Fan's hand was the same. It was frozen. He felt his movements become slower. Even the law was frozen. "Humph!" Mo Fan shouted. Holding the sword with both hands, he slashed down from the sky like a galaxy. Boom. The ice swords in the sky were mercilessly torn apart. It was over. Mo Fan slashed at Han Chong again. Chapter 4471. Han Chong kept retreating. Many icicles appeared in front of him, about to pierce through everything. At the same time, countless icicles condensed into a clone behind Mo Fan. An icicle spear appeared in his hand, and he thrust it out like a dragon's roar. There were attacks in front and behind him. It was a trap. Countless people exclaimed. Mo Fan naturally felt the terrifying power coming from behind him. He roared angrily, and the seal on the battle saber in his hand was undone. It formed a Saint King weapon. With a single strike, the clone behind it was destroyed. Another slash forced Han Chong back. Han Chong fell out of the arena, his arm numb. I lost, he sighed. Who else? Mo Fan snorted. Next, we also went up. These were the people that Lin Xian had seen in the true spirit world. They all went up one after another. In the end, they all lost. Young Master Ling Tian's face turned ghastly pale when he saw this. He thought that he could even defeat the other party in this battle. But now he had no hope at all. So he didn't go up. Everyone was in despair. The people of Ethereal Peak were indeed strong to be able to sweep the world with just one saber. Damn it. Why didn't they send our experts? We also have saint-level experts. Some disciples gritted their teeth. However, the elders of the Grotto Heavens snorted. Are you really stupid or an idiot? If you want to die, don't drag the Grotto Heavens down with you. The other party is from Misty Peak. We don't even have time to befriend them. Who would be stupid enough to let a saint fight? Isn't this a challenge? Do you think you'll have a good ending if you go against Misty Peak? Now, the half-step Saint Kings were just going to train. This way they could train the disciples and not offend Misty Peak. No Grotto Heavens or ancient race dared to offend Misty Peak. However, there was an exception, because a black-robed man walked over. Only a pair of eyes appeared on his body, emitting a cold light. His aura had reached the Saint King realm. Mo Fan and the other two's faces were cold. Take my strongest attack, Purple Flame Demonic Saber. Mo Fan roared and used the battle saber in his hand to the extreme. Balls of purple flames jumped, waving in the sky. This saber was tens of thousands of miles long, slashing down from the sky. The black-robed man struck out with his palm, and the laws danced on it, forming a hand of laws that blocked the saber. Another punch knocked Mo Fan back. Mo Fan's face went pale. Damn it! He wanted to risk his life, but at this moment, Xingchen said, Junior brother, Mo, stop. Leave this person to me. Mo Fan came to a stop and nodded. Very well, you can pass. However, sooner or later, you will have to stay under my senior brother Xingchen. The black-robed man chuckled coldly. Without saying a word, he walked to the side. Next, he continued. More people walked out one after another, but they were all defeated. In the end, almost no one came out. Was there nothing left? Mo Fan swept his gaze around. At this moment, another figure walked out. His appearance caused countless cries of surprise. Lin Xian's gaze was steady and his expression was calm as he walked forward. Was he going to participate as well? He actually dared to have designs on Fairy Xueqi. Acting recklessly, battle servants could be killed directly. Cold laughter could be heard. The faces of the people from the 1,000 Mountain Cave turned ugly. Damn it, a battle servant is participating? What a joke! Xian Hai stood up and shouted angrily, Little battle servant, kneel down. Men, take him down. There were 4 figures in the surroundings, and they quickly walked toward Lin Xian. They all had chains of law in their hands, and they wanted to seal Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian's figure flickered, and he instantly arrived in the arena like lightning. The 4 of them were stunned. What speed! Xian Hai was also stunned. You, get back! Xian Hai roared and activated the life and death curse. In his opinion, no matter how strong a battle servant was, as long as the life and death curse was activated, the opponent would definitely die. However, there seemed to be an exception this time. Lin Xian stood there, unaffected. How was this possible? Xian Hai's eyes widened. Who was this person? Did he not plant the life and death curse on him? The surrounding people were also in an uproar. Sacred ruler Xingqian suddenly stood up and said, "Impossible. I personally brought him to Elder Three-Eyed. He must have planted the life and death curse. Kid, this is not a place where you can come. Quickly leave." As he spoke, he also used the life and death curse. However, Lin Xian did not have any reaction at all. Damn it, what was going on? Sacred ruler Xingqian's eyes widened. His opponent was really unaffected. Could it be that there was something wrong with the life and death curse? Quickly go and invite Elder Three-Eyed here. Sacred ruler Xingqian roared, and the surrounding people instantly flew into the distance. Most of the elders had come to such a grand event. There were also some elders who did not come. Elder Three-Eyed did not come. Now that there was a problem with the life and death curse, they naturally invited him over. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at sacred ruler Xingqian. A cold, killing intent appeared in his eyes. Then he looked at Xian high again and said in a clear voice, "If I remember correctly, the martial arts competition invites everyone in the world. There are no special rules. Who said that I can't participate? Damn kid, can a battle servant be considered a human?" Sacred ruler Xingqian roared. The others also had cold faces. Indeed, a battle servant was no different from an ant in their eyes. At this moment, Xueqi spoke up. "Who said that he can't participate? I said that anyone can participate as long as they have the strength." The crowd was in an uproar. Fairy Xueqi was actually speaking up for the other party. Damn it, why? Many people went crazy. Xingqian's face also darkened. An ant was actually able to snatch away his face. I've inquired about this person. He's an array master and has helped Xueqi with a lot of array matters. That's why he's receiving such treatment. An array master. Humph, a mere sacred ruler. No matter how strong he is, how strong can he be? Since he dares to go against me, I'll let him know what it's like to live a life worse than death. Xian Hai wanted to say something, but at this moment, the Holy Heaven's old ancestor spoke up. All right, let him participate. If this continues, it will only embarrass us even more. This is against the rules. However, Black Ice Old Ancestor also nodded. Let him participate. He won't pass anyway. Xianhai did not say anything. The surrounding people were shocked. A battle servant was participating in the contest for a spouse. If this news spread, it would definitely shock the world. Mo Fan sneered. He had already received his senior brother's message. He would not let the other party go. Was he only a Saint Venerable? Too weak. I can kill you with a single finger. But don't worry, I won't really kill you. I'll cripple your cultivation and break your limbs. You'll continue to live like an ant. After saying that, he laughed proudly. You're happy too early. You're just a half-step sacred ruler. I don't care about you. I advise you to kneel down and kowtow to admit your mistake. Then, I'll spare your life. Otherwise, you'll end up in a miserable state. Lin Xian said indifferently, standing with his hands behind his back. Chapter 4472. What did you say? Mo Fan was stunned. Everyone else was stunned. A sacred venerate was threatening a half-step sacred king? Furthermore, it was a peak half-step sacred king. What was this kid thinking? If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Mo Fan stretched out a finger and pointed forward. Countless purple flames were dancing on it. The surrounding void shattered in an instant, unable to withstand this power at all. The people from the other grotto heavens sneered. With this attack, this guy's soul would probably be destroyed. If an ant died, then so be it. There was nothing to pity. The surrounding people sneered. Facing the attack, Lin Xian put away his smile and attacked with lightning speed. He grabbed the finger with his palm. Crack! The finger was broken, and a miserable cry rang out. Lin Xian broke the other party's arm with another palm. Sacred blood fell. piercing through heaven and earth. Mo Fan retreated in a sorry state, his handsome face twisted. The pain made him go crazy. You dare hurt me? I'll kill you. At this moment, he could no longer care about anything else. His arm instantly recovered, and he slashed forward. Everyone was stunned. This guy was so strong that he could injure Mo Fan. Mo Fan must have been careless. Just watch, he would definitely die. Buzz. The saber flashed, and everyone's expressions changed. Whether it was Han Chong, Yu Hui, or Meng Hao, they were all defeated by this saber. This was especially true for Han Chong and Yu Hui. They had seen Lin Xian in the true spirit world before. They knew how terrifying this guy was. He was a top expert of a world. But so what? He had come to the buried Emperor's Star to fight. Pooh! Did this guy want to change his fate? It was impossible. They all shook their heads and sneered. I said that you're not my match. Seeing that Mo Fan continued to attack, Lin Xian shook his head and slapped again. This guy was crazy. That was the weapon of a sacred king. The surrounding people exclaimed. This guy's hand would be broken immediately, no matter how strong his body was. A sacred venerate couldn't block the weapon of a sacred king. Clang! The palm and the saber collided. The palm didn't break, and instead it grabbed the saber. Then Lin Xian's other palm slapped over. A palm landed on Mo Fan's face. Mo Fan was sent flying like a kite with its string cut. His teeth scattered across the ground, and half of his face was smashed into pieces. This saber is not bad. It's a pity that it was used by you. What a waste. Lin Xian held his saber in a reverse grip and slashed out. Mo Fan rose to his feet. He was about to lose his temper when he was slashed in half. He roared madly as his soul escaped. Damn it, how dare you hurt me? Do you know who I am? Before he could finish his words, another slap landed on him, and his soul dimmed. Didn't you say you wanted to break my limbs? Cripple my cultivation? I'll fulfill your wish. Wung! The saber slashed at the soul. The saber shook as if it was roaring. Endless purple flames burned. However, it couldn't leave Lin Xian's palm. Damn it, how dare you? The people of Misty Peak were enraged. They pointed their stardust finger, and terrifying starlight surrounded them as they charged towards Lin Xian. At the same time, the elders of the 1,000 Mountain Cave also made their move. The two holy rulers descended together and enveloped Lin Xian. A terrifying aura surged out. Xue Qi cried out in alarm and quickly retreated. Lin Xian blocked the starlight with his saber, but he didn't make a move. What? Are you going to ignore the rules in front of the whole world? 1,000 Mountain Grotto Heaven's face has been lost because of you. Stop! The Holy Heaven's old ancestor roared. Furiously, a monstrous aura of a great sage surged out and swept out in all directions. Everyone stopped. No one dared to make a move against Lin Xian. Xian Hai's expression changed. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor couldn't be allowed to live. He went too far. He actually dared to attack the people of Misty Peak. It's unavoidable to make a mistake in a battle on the stage. However, even if he deserves to die, we shouldn't be the ones to do it. After this matter is over, we will personally hand him over to Misty Peak and let them deal with him. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor gave face to Misty Peak and protected Lin Xian at the same time. To be honest, he was only protecting Lin Xian because he wanted to make things difficult for Black Ice Ancestor. After all, if Black Ice Ancestor really joined hands with Misty Peak, it would be extremely disadvantageous for him. Therefore, he couldn't let this matter go smoothly. He was the one who had secretly sent the black-robed holy ruler. Now that Lin Xian had displayed such great strength, he couldn't let Lin Xian die. Lin Xian was stunned. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor was protecting him? He didn't know the Holy Heaven's old ancestor at all. However, after thinking about it, he understood. His lips curled up into a smile. Did I pass? Xian Hai gritted his teeth and said, You passed." The surrounding people were stunned. They had never thought that a battle servant with the cultivation of a holy venerate would successfully pass the test. How could this guy be so strong? He had actually defeated Mo Fan. Not only that, but he had also taken the holy ruler's weapon with his bare hands. This guy's body was at least at the level of a holy ruler. Is he really a holy venerate? I have a feeling that he was hiding his strength. Many people exclaimed in surprise. What's going on with this battle servant? The people from Thousand Mountain Cave also started to investigate. They wanted to find Lin Xian's secret. Xue Qi also heaved a sigh of relief. As long as the elders didn't join hands, Lin Xian shouldn't have any problems with the rest. She might have seen Lin Xian kill a holy ruler elder with her own eyes. Furthermore, to prevent these people from investigating Lin Xian's secret, she quickly stood out and said, all right, only 3 people have passed. Next, I will fight with these 3 people. If you can defeat me, you can become my husband." The final battle was about to begin. The crowd held their breaths. They wondered who among the 3 would be able to defeat Xue Qi. Someone sneered. Needless to say, it would definitely be Xingchen from Misty Peak. Apart from him, would the other 2 have any chance of winning? As for the battle servant, he wouldn't be a match for a holy king. As for the black-robed man, he was extremely mysterious. However, young Master Xingchen wouldn't let him off. "Let me go first." As Xue Qi's voice echoed out, a person came to the arena. It was the black-robed man. Xingchen furrowed his brows. Who is this person? He unexpectedly dared to steal my limelight. In all honesty, he had wanted to go first because he didn't want any undue delay. But now the black-robed man had already gone up, and it was too late for him to say anything. "I want to see what kind of power you have to dare to steal from me." Xingchen sneered coldly. Xue Qi's expression was ice-cold as she looked at the black-robed man. This black-robed man was extremely mysterious and strange. She must be careful. She couldn't lose this battle, and she couldn't afford to lose it. However, it was fortunate that she was now the 9 Yin tribe's inheritor. Her power was greater than before. She waved her hand, and a blue sword appeared in her hand. Black frost started spreading out from the sword. She was really a peerless fairy. When Xue Qi used her laws, the eyes of the black-robed man opposite her shone brightly. With a stomp of his foot, he rushed back like lightning. Chapter 4473. The black-robed man was quite swift, and he tore through the void and arrived in front of Xue Qi. A gale swept out, and his palm descended mercilessly. Bang! The void in all directions was shattered by the palm, and the spectators in the vicinity felt an indescribable pressure. All of this showed how terrifying this strike was. This was a Saint King's all-out strike, and it was obvious that the black-robed man wanted to end the battle quickly. Xingchen took a deep breath, and he couldn't help but get worried. The black-robed man's power was beyond his imagination, and he wondered whether Xue Qi could block him. If she was defeated, it would be difficult to resolve the situation. He was so quick. Xue Qi was surprised, and she slashed out with her blue sword. She managed to block the black-robed man's palm. When the 2 weapons collided, it was as if a saint weapon had collided, and the power that erupted out was like the sun. So strong. This person's physique is actually so tyrannical. Xue Qi was surprised. Black frost erupted out of her sword, and it swept toward the black-robed man's palm. It quickly froze it and sealed it in ice. The black-robed man's body was quite powerful, but her ice was even more terrifying. Crack, crack. In the twinkling of an eye, the black-robed man's palm was covered by black frost, and the frost even spread toward his body. The black-robed man's pupils contracted. The frost made him feel like his arm was about to shatter. The power of the laws in his body started circulating, and it became extremely slow. Hateful! The black-robed man roared as he punched the black-robed man's arm with his other hand. The black-robed man's arm cracked open, and the frost shattered. At the same time, the black-robed man lashed out with his foot, which seemed like a heavenly blade. Xueqi retreated quickly, and she didn't resist the terrifying power contained within the kick. As she retreated, boundless black frost formed a pair of black wings on her back. The wings unfolded, and as they fluttered, the whole sky was filled with frost. The frost was formed by the Nining body, and it was much more powerful than ordinary frost. It was even more terrifying than the mysterious ice art. When the black frost appeared, the expressions of everyone present changed drastically. They all felt like their bodies and souls were about to be sealed in ice. How could this frost be so terrifying? He had just become a Saint King, so his power shouldn't be so terrifying. The Paradise's experts were all startled. Even Xian Hai was startled. This isn't right, as this isn't the mysterious ice art's power. He also cultivated the profound ice incantation, so he was naturally very clear about this kind of power. Therefore, he looked at Black Ice Ancestor in confusion. Black Ice Ancestor, as the creator of the Black Ice technique, also shook her head. That's right, this was not the power of the Black Ice extinction. However, it was much stronger than the Black Ice tactics. It was obvious that Qi had obtained some kind of good fortune in the land of frost. Father, what do you think of this battle? Xian Hai asked nervously. Black Ice Ancestor's eyes flickered. I was worried before. After all, Qi had just broken through, and her realm was not stable. But now, after seeing the Black Frost, I was relieved. Qi had won this battle. Sure enough, the sky was filled with ice. The black-robed man's expression changed. The threat of the ice caused his heart to beat wildly. Moreover, he had come here in disguise, so it was impossible for him to use his most proficient divine ability. Otherwise, his identity would be exposed in an instant. At that time, he would end up in a miserable state. Thinking of this, his face turned gloomy, and his eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying radiance. Endless precepts gathered in his hand, forming a flower of the great path. Then, a cold voice sounded. Wither! The flower of the great path quickly withered, and a gloomy aura swept out in all directions. The people in the surroundings felt their scalps go numb. What kind of power was this? It was so terrifying. It could take away all life. Lin Xian also frowned. It was similar to his death precepts. It was indeed a very dangerous divine ability. Xueqi also felt it, and the black wings on her back released ice that blocked everything. The world was frozen. Endless black runes appeared on her body, and they emitted a mysterious aura. At this moment, the ice was even more terrifying. It was as if she had turned into an ice god, and it swept out in all directions. The world was frozen, and the surroundings were sealed in ice. The black-robed man's precepts froze in the void, and endless ice appeared on his body. In the end, he had no choice but to escape with his soul, which was why he was not sealed in ice. However, his body had already been sealed in the arena. The black-robed man smiled bitterly. I admit defeat. Xueqi waved her hand, and the ice in the sky disappeared. The black-robed man's soul and body recovered, and he walked out of the arena. Soon after, he tore open the void and disappeared. What a powerful ice! Is this the black ice tactics? Many people cried out in alarm. The people in the vicinity were all dumbfounded. Xueqi's power was beyond their expectations. Even some of the veteran saints were surprised. Xueqi's power didn't seem like someone who had just made a breakthrough. The ethereal peaks people smiled, and Xingchen nodded. It was his turn to fight. He would defeat Xueqi personally, and then marry her. Hateful! Yen Mo frowned, and his expression became gloomy. The holy heaven's old ancestor also frowned, as he was the one who had sent this person. He had thought that defeating Xueqi wouldn't be a problem. However, Xueqi's frost technique was beyond his expectations. She wasn't using the frost technique, and this was why his plan had failed. On the other side, the black ice ancestor transmitted her voice to go and ask someone to follow the black-robed man. I suspect that someone is secretly attacking him. Xianhai nodded and sent someone to follow the black-robed man. Xingchen walked down from the arena. He wore armor, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. He looked like a young war god, and many people looked up to him. Don't worry. I won't injure you in this battle. Xingchen came to the arena and said with a smile. Xueqi snorted coldly. Please call me by my name. I don't know you that well. Moreover, you won't be able to win this battle. Xueqi snorted coldly, and she waved the long sword in her hand, causing black ice to sweep out once again. Let me show you my Star Clan's secret technique. Starlight illuminates the heavens and earth. Xingchen roared, and the mountains shook. The heavens collapsed, and the earth cracked. Boundless starlight rushed out of his body, and it illuminated the 9 heavens. It turned into terrifying sword energy, and it descended from the sky. The starlight and the ice collided, and it seemed like 2 worlds were fighting. Countless cracks spread out in all directions. Xingchen is so powerful. He is even more terrifying than the black-robed man. He wondered if Xueqi would be able to resist it. She definitely can't. She is destined to become Xingchen's woman. The ethereal peaks, people sneered coldly. They were very confident in Xingchen's strength. Ice Seal. Xueqi was like an ice goddess, and she used her ice power to freeze the entire world. The starlight in the sky was also sealed in the air. Dugaju was surprised. He knew that the Star Clan's starlight was extremely terrifying, and ordinary ice couldn't resist it. Even the ice tactics wouldn't be able to seal it. What kind of inheritance did Xueqi use? Why did it shock him? Chapter 4474. Xingchen was also taken aback. She's really worthy of being my woman. She's really powerful. When the time comes, we will get married and join forces. We will surely be able to sweep the whole world. Even though his magical power was sealed by ice, Xingchen was still calm and confident. He formed a seal with his palms and shot out a Milky Way shadow. Countless starlight revolved around it, and it seemed like a starry sky was pressing down. The Milky Way shadow shattered the ice and frost that filled the sky. The boundless power contained within it was extremely terrifying. The Milky Way seal pressed down from the sky. Wherever it passed, the black ice and frost would shatter. However, when it came close to Xueqi, the Milky Way seal was blocked. It seemed like it couldn't advance any further. When the Misty Peaks members saw this, they furrowed their brows. The ice was really strange. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. It seemed like Xueqi had just gotten the 9 Yin inheritance. Otherwise, it would be easy for her to seal Xingchen with her sage realm cultivation and the 9 Yin inheritance. After Xueqi blocked the Milky Way seal, she started to counterattack. Countless black ice and frost turned into a rain of arrows that flew out and penetrated the sky. The Milky Way shadow was sealed. Moreover, the rain of arrows flew toward Xingchen. It seemed like it wanted to seal him as well. The armor on Xingchen's body shone brightly as he formed a seal with his palms and roared toward the sky. A Milky Way appeared on his body, and it revolved around him. Boom, boom, boom. The black ice and frost that filled the sky bombarded the Milky Way shadow, and a terrifying sound echoed out. The Milky Way shadow shook, but it didn't shatter. What a powerful defense! The Thousand Mountain Paradises members exclaimed in surprise. The Milky Way shadow was too terrifying, and it seemed like it could block everything. The other Paradises members were also surprised. Xueqi was already in an invincible position. They wondered how Xueqi would continue to fight. Lin Xian furrowed his brows, and a golden radiance appeared in his eyes. In the next moment, a smile appeared at the corners of his mouth. It seemed like Xingqian would suffer a loss. He discovered that even though the ice and frost that filled the sky was blocked, it was still arranged in a certain way. Even though it was quite well hidden, as an expert of formations, he was able to discover it in an instant. The two black wings on Xueqi's back turned into ice frost swords and flew out. In the end, the black wings and the Milky Way and Xueqi, after passing through countless layers of frost, the starry river became dim and lightless. Then it cracked open. However, Stardust laughed loudly as he walked out. He realized that his opponent's ice attack had been completely blocked. It seemed like Xueqi had consumed a lot of her energy to cast such a magical ability. Therefore, it was time for him to counterattack. The Milky Way seal appeared in his hand again, and he waved it forward. The Milky Way seal blossomed with radiance, and the power that erupted from it was incomparable. It seemed to be even stronger than before. This Stardust had been fighting for so long, yet he still had such strength. Could it be that he had been hiding his strength before? Countless cries of surprise rang out. They knew that Xueqi was in danger. However, at this moment, a smile appeared on Xueqi's pale face. She formed a seal with her palm. The formation was activated. With a bellow, the scattered frost in the surroundings suddenly began to revolve, emanating a brilliant glow as it formed a massive formation that shrouded the entire area. The icebound array. As soon as it was formed, the terrifying ice completely enveloped the Stardust. Stardust let out a crazy roar. The armor on his body became dim in an instant. It seemed like he was going to be completely frozen. It was unexpectedly a formation. Moreover, it was an extremely terrifying formation. When did he set it up? The people in the surroundings were all dumbfounded. Why didn't they discover it before? The pupils of the ethereal peaks people also contracted. Dugaju's eyes shone with a cold light as he realized that this was the case. After thinking about it for a moment, he discovered that the icy arrow rain wasn't just a powerful magical ability attack, but it also contained the power of a formation. After the attack was destroyed, the array formation quietly condensed again. He had long heard that Xueqi wasn't just an apex expert, but she was also an expert in formations. Now, it seemed like the rumors weren't false. It seemed like Stardust had been careless. However, with Stardust's trump card, he shouldn't lose. Stardust's expression became ice cold, and a ferocious look appeared on his face. Hateful. He unexpectedly used a formation to attack me. He was completely infuriated. As a roar echoed out, starlight rushed out of his body. A Stardust stone was formed between his eyebrows, and it blossomed with an unparalleled radiance. It seemed like he had turned into the brightest star in the world. As the power in his body erupted, it swept out in all directions and tore a crack in the formation. He became even stronger. Many people cried out in alarm. The formation's terror had already made them despair. They hadn't expected that he would be able to break through the formation's restraint. Everything had come to an end. Stardust flew out of the formation's crack and charged toward Xueqi. He stretched out a finger, which was surrounded by a ray of starlight. It was the star spirit finger. It was said that this finger could shatter the boundless starry sky, and it was one of the ethereal peak's most terrifying magical abilities. They hadn't expected that he would actually use it at this moment. The battle had come to an end. A smile appeared on Dugaju's face. Mo Fan and the others from the ethereal peak also smiled. They had won. The other people also sighed. Even though they had been defeated by such a magical ability, it was still an honorable defeat. Xueqi took a deep breath. She could clearly sense how terrifying this finger was. However, she wouldn't lose. In the next moment, her body kept changing, and she left behind countless ice-cold afterimages as she extended her jade-like hands. 9 in divine claw. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A terrifying black shadow streaked across the sky, and a roar echoed out as Stardust flew out. Scratches appeared on his body, and his body was penetrated. Fresh blood instantly flowed out of his body. What happened? Everyone was startled. Dugaju stood up, and a terrifying radiance burst out of his eyes, which seemed capable of penetrating the heavens and the earth. Yuehua, Mo Fan, and the others were also startled. Was the star's spirit finger broken? What was that black shadow a moment ago? What is this? The 1,000 mountain caves elders were also startled. Even the 2 old ancestors furrowed their brows. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Could it be the 9 in divine claw's most powerful technique? He had obtained the 9 sons' divine claw's inheritance, and he knew that it wasn't as simple as just the divine body. There were also some terrifying, powerful techniques. It seemed like the technique that Xueqi had just used was one of those techniques. You have lost. Xueqi withdrew her palm and spoke coldly. On the other side, Stardust, who had fallen below the arena, couldn't believe what had happened. How is this possible? He had been defeated. He had become a Saint King 3 years ago, and he had practiced the ethereal peaks cultivation techniques. How could he have been defeated? Stardust gritted his teeth and roared. He had just stood up, but the wounds on his body suddenly opened up. His face turned pale, and he couldn't use his power. Not only had he been injured, but his wounds also contained a powerful ice-cold aura that froze the laws and meridians in his body. His internal organs had been injured, and if he didn't recover in time, his foundation would be damaged. Chapter 4475. Wang. Dugaju took a step forward and arrived before Xingchen. He looked at Xingchen and checked his injuries. Then his face turned cold. It was even more serious than he had imagined. He made his move, striking out with the power of laws. At the same time, he took out a secret pill. Quickly bring him back to rest. Mo Fan and the others quickly helped Xingchen to his feet and brought him to the side. Dogawuji asked coldly as he looked at Xueqi, "What cultivation technique did Xueqi use a moment ago?" It did not seem to be a martial art from the 1,000 Mountain Cave. The others were also puzzled and looked over. Xueqi said that she had gone to the cold mountain before, and she had obtained some good fortune there. Since the Misty Peak has many abilities, they shouldn't be interested in my little summoning. Stardust has already lost. I think he no longer has the qualifications to marry me. Xueqi looked at Dugaju. Dugaju's face darkened. The surrounding people also held their breaths, not daring to say anything. After a while, Dugaju finally spoke. But of course, the people of Ethereal Peak were true to their words. Since they had lost, they had lost. Puff. Xingchen, who was in the midst of recuperating from his injuries, spurted a mouthful of blood upon hearing those words, and his face turned incomparably pale. Damn it, this time he really lost all his face. However, he swore that next time he would definitely defeat her and marry her. Who would have thought that young noble Stardust would fail? That's right. It seems like the groom selection competition has come to an end. No one could marry Fairy Xueqi. I'm guessing that young Master Stardust will definitely make a comeback next time. Sighs could be heard, as everyone seemed to have forgotten about Lin Xian's existence. It was as if Stardust's failure was the end. At this moment, Xueqi said, "You seem to have forgotten a person. I will challenge the third person. Is there anyone else?" Right, it's that battle servant. Even young Master Stardust had been defeated. How could he possibly succeed? That's right. Going up there would only be suicide. The people of Ethereal Peak shook their heads. The people from the other heavenly abodes were also surprised. They couldn't understand why Fairy Xueqi was so persistent. Could it be that she thought highly of this battle servant? The elders of Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven naturally thought of this as well. They felt that it was a fantasy. Xian Hai said, there's no need for a battle servant. You can't say that. Since he's already here, I'll give him a chance. The Yen Mo also laughed coldly. The people they had secretly sent had failed. However, this Lin Xian seemed to have a good understanding of formations. Perhaps he would be able to achieve unexpected results. Damn it! Xian Hai gritted his teeth. On the ground, Xueqi looked at Lin Xian and said, "Come up. Let's fight the final battle." Lin Xian stood up and walked forward. He came to the arena and ignored the gazes of the others. Lin Xian said as he looked ahead, "Bring out your full strength, I won't hold back either." He was looking forward to the battle between the 9 Yin and 9 Yang. What kind of scene would it be? Xueqi nodded. In the next moment, the 9 Yin body was activated, and endless black frost appeared on her body. On the other side, Lin Xian roared at the sky. The 9 suns' divine flame appeared on his body, and a scorching aura swept out in all directions. Half of the sky was instantly covered. What kind of aura was that? So valiant. The crowd was disdainful at first, but when they felt the aura of that power, they were stunned. They were all stunned. This person's physique was too unusual. He had mastered some kind of ancient body-refining technique. Countless people were shocked. The elders were also stunned. Dugaju's eyes shone with a cold light. The 2 great sages were equally astonished. Why was this battle servant so strange? Black Ice Ancestor frowned. The Holy Heaven's ancestor, who was beside her, smiled. He wanted to see the scene after the victory. "Be careful, I'm going to attack with my full strength," Lin Xian said in a low voice. Then he stomped his foot and charged forward. He didn't use any laws or magical powers. He only used the power of his divine body to attack. His fist seemed to have turned into a sun, and it swept across the sky, shattering the void. On the other side, Xueqi also attacked, and her black palm struck out. Boom, boom, boom. The confrontation between the 2's physiques was extremely strong. Cracks appeared on the entire arena, which shocked the crowd. Nothing happened when they fought with Xingqian. However, at this moment, the arena was shattered. It was unbelievable. Boundless ice appeared on Lin Xian's body and froze him. The 9 suns' divine fire swept across and melted the black ice. Not only that, but the flames also enveloped Xueqi. The black wings on her back blocked the flames. However, she had just obtained the 9 Yin body. Her physique was no match for Lin Xian's. However, her cultivation was much higher than Lin Xian's. She was a saint ruler. Therefore, they were evenly matched. Buzz. Lin Xian seemed to have turned into a sun god of war. His golden fist was invincible. The people in the surrounding heavens were dumbfounded. The geniuses in the heavens felt despair. Is he really just a battle servant? Why do I feel like he has surpassed us? They all lowered their heads in front of such power. Is this guy really so strong? Mo Fan and the others from the Misty Peak felt their scalps go numb. Mo Fan was furious when he was defeated, and he wanted to take revenge. He thought it was because he was careless. However, after witnessing this battle, he didn't want to take revenge anymore. He reckoned that he wouldn't be able to withstand even a single punch from such a terrifying attack. On the other side, Xueqi's body was encircled by ice, and she seemed like an ice goddess. She opened a world of ice and frost. As soon as the fist entered her ice domain, it slowed down. Bang! Their fists and palms collided, and a deafening sound echoed out. The universal laws turned into divine chains that tore apart the sky. They exchanged hundreds of blows, and everything in their path was shattered. The crowd was shocked by this. "Be careful, as I'm about to use my ultimate attack," Xueqi warned him as she used the Nining Divine Claw. A black shadow streaked across the sky, and Lin Xian felt like his body was being attacked violently. It was as if a sacred weapon had struck his body, and he felt like his body was about to be torn apart. He roared as the 9 suns opened the sky. He opened his palms and tore apart the void. The sky and earth were instantly split open, and a large crack extended into the distance. At this moment, he attacked forcefully, and the black shadow that filled the sky was instantly torn apart. Not good. The strongest absolute art was actually broken. The people from the 1,000-mountain wonderland cried out in alarm. It was this attack that had defeated Xingqian. However, it couldn't do anything to Lin Xian now. Is Xueqi going to be defeated? Lin Xian waved his fists, which carried an invincible aura. At this moment, his divine body emitted a dazzling light, and when he waved his 9 fists, the sky and earth were shattered. Nothing could stop him. Xueqi could only defend herself passively. 9 layers of ice formed on her body to block his attacks. In the end, the ice that filled the sky was shattered, and she was knocked back. Her face was pale. Xueqi had been defeated. Many people were shocked, and Xianhai and the others stood up in disbelief. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.